to a very unsteady season.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89 and the Sirius XM app.
Hello, Blue Jay fans. I'm Craig Ballard, host of your daily Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Locked On Blue Jays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On Blue Jays brings you the latest Blue Jays news and analysis and breaks down all of the action. Locked On Blue Jays is everything a Blue Jays fan could want, all in a 30-minute daily podcast. Download Locked On Blue Jays right now on the SXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Blue Jays.
Just a gift certificate today.
CJCL Toronto. This
slams the ball to right field, way back, way gone!
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time!
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
2 days ago, the Blue Jays were blown out at the Dome in an embarrassing 13-0 loss to Tampa, but Toronto showed some serious moxie last night, bouncing back on the winning track with a 6-5 walk-off victory to kick off their three-game series against the Rangers. Welcome, everybody, to the Sportsnet Radio Network. Eric Smith and former Major Chris LaRue with you, alongside host and producer Sho Ali, technical directors Andrew Adams and Tom Young. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Prince George, BC, and Calgary, Alberta. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Kevin Gausman gets the start today for the Blue Jays, 8-8 on the season, hoping to guide the Jays to a second straight win. His counterpart, Michael Lorenzen, on the hill for Texas. It's the Rangers and Blue Jays, and the first pitch is right around the corner. You're listening to Blue Jays baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app, sportsnet.ca, and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Cheers, insiders. Thanks for hanging out with us for another Toronto Blue Jays game. All right, like check. Everybody exit out of that chat. See if you've hit that like button. If you have, I appreciate it. If you haven't, come on, get on with it. It's free. The best way to bring more fans here into the chat. Blue Jays fans, it's been a rough season. We need some people to share in our misery. Hit that like button so we can get more Blue Jays fans into this awesome community and keep on growing it. Look, this place is built for the fans, by a fan. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys in the chat.
Always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Embrace the chaos of baseball's trade deadline.
This changes the whole landscape.
Tune to MLB Network Radio for up-to-the-minute news and analysis of every trade, every rumor, straight from the experts, leading up to Tuesday's deadline.
It's a seller's market. It's not going to be easy, but the big boys step up. The big boys get it done.
Don't miss live coverage of baseball's trade deadline on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89, and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
And it's gone!
Jays fans, this is John Schneider, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
There's the exclamation point for all assembled here at Rogers Center.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
John, given everything else that's going on today and around this week, how does it feel to get a moment where you can kind of celebrate that and enjoy a win?
Yeah, it's great, obviously a busy day. I thought the guys played really, really well. Big at bats from, Spence, Ernie, obviously, Leo, young guys contributing was pretty cool. I think overlooked part of the game was Vladdy getting to second base and not taking anything for granted in the first. Yeah, it was nice. It's nice to come out on top there, and you're a little bit short in the pen, so good that we didn't go 10. And overall, I think it was a really good job by the bullpen.
And, of course, the voice of Blue Jays manager John Schneider after last night's ball game. As I mentioned in the intro, what a game it was for the Jays last night. The big bounce back after losing 13-0 to come back and get the 6-5 walk-off win last night at Rogers Center, and now a chance to carry some momentum into this afternoon's ball game. But before we talk about today's game, Chris, there was another deal happening. Yesterday it was one reliever on the move, and today another one. Nate Pearson has been traded to Chicago by the Blue Jays, the Chicago Cubs, I should say.
Yeah, I think that's look, it's always tough to be traded. This is Nate Pearson's only organization. He was here for a long time. And I think that after the shock wears off for Nate Pearson, his family, his friends, I think he'll realize that this is a big turning point in his career. He can get to Chicago. There's guys in Chicago that will look at his delivery. They'll look at the things that he has. He has the big fastball, the good off-speed pitches. They'll figure out that mentality that he's been struggling with when he comes into games, late in ball games, close situations, and they'll massage it a bit. They'll change it. He could turn into an all-star. I've said this all season long. He might not be the guy that the Jays hoped he would be, but I tell you what, when he gets to Chicago, when he gets different eyeballs on him, when he gets different hands massaging that right arm, he could turn into something special. I'm looking forward to the rest of his career.
So again, Nate Pearson on the move to the Chicago Cubs, and of course we will be keeping our eye on the on the field, let alone on the waiver wire over the course of the weekend to see if there are any other moves involving not just the Jays but other moves across Major League Baseball. But as for the Rangers and Blue Jays, Toronto coming in at 47-56, the Rangers at 51-53. And what do the lineups look like today, Mr. LaRue?
Well, leading off for the Texas Rangers and playing second base is Marcus Semien. At shortstop, batting second is Corey Seager. Josh Smith is at third base and will bat third. In the cleanup spot is Wyatt Langford. He'll be in left field. Batting fifth and playing right field is Adolis Garcia. At first base, hitting sixth, is Nathaniel Lowe. DHing and batting seventh will be Jonah Heim. In center field, batting eighth is Leody Taveras, and batting ninth is Andrew Kisner. He'll be behind the plate. On the mound is righty Michael Lorenzen. And for the Blue Jays, leading off and playing right field is George Springer. At first base, batting second is Spencer Horwitz. Batting third and playing third base will be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. DHing and batting fourth is Justin Turner. Dalton Varsho will be fifth and play center field. Will be hitting fifth and play center field. Behind the plate, batting sixth will be Alejandro Kirk. At second, batting seventh is Davis Schneider. Ernie Clement will hit eighth and play shortstop. And batting ninth is Stuart Baroa. He'll be in left field. On the mound for the Jays is Kevin Gausman.
And Stuart Baroa, the name that Chris just mentioned, out in left field today, still in search of his first Major League career hit. And that's something that John Schneider talked about before the ball game, but he said he'd like to get Stuart in there because it was a day game, looking for a little bit of energy and maybe trying to pick up on the energy that we saw from Baroa last night when he came into the ball game and stole a base and was really an energizer. And he said he likes his energy and his personality even in the dugout. He said at times when he first came up, he almost was like, "Hey kid, you got to kind of pump the brakes a little bit in the locker room, like know your role." But in the dugout and on the field, between the lines during the game, that's the kind of energy that you want, let alone need, especially during a season where things haven't necessarily been going the way you want. You're looking for that, as John said, that human cup of coffee.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I was talking to hitting coach Guillermo Martinez yesterday, and we were talking about Stuart Baroa and the mentality and how he is as a baseball player, because I don't really know much about him. But Guillermo Martinez has known him for years, and he mentioned those exact same qualities. He is a spark at every single level he's been at. He's been a spark, and even in the big leagues, no different.
So we're getting set to start here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in downtown Toronto. Thanks for tuning in wherever you are listening, whether you're in the GTA in Ontario or if you're at the Cottage, if you're somewhere west, east, or across the globe. We appreciate you keeping it tuned in right here on the Sportsnet Radio Network as we get set for Kevin Gausman, and he will face Marcus Semien to start this ball game. Semien steps in with a .246 average on the season with 15 homers, 53 runs batted in. Of course, the former Blue Jay. And what a time he had when he was in Toronto. And he swings at the first pitch from Gausman, sends it out to right field on the run over toward the line. Diving and missing it was George Springer. And Semien turning the corners all the way around to third, and a triple to lead off this ball game for Marcus Semien.
Well, that is a tough break for Kevin Gausman. A good fastball, a good pitch down in the zone, and Semien just hit a weak pop-up down that right field line. George Springer was shaded almost towards center field in the gap in right center. He had a long way to go. He dove for that baseball, but I think he should have caught that ball on a hop and just held Semien to a double. It's a big break for the Texas Rangers.
And an early opportunity now for Texas as Corey Seager steps in, swings at the first pitch, misses. The left-handed power bat of the shortstop Seager with 19 homers on the season. Fouls off the second pitch, down on the left field side into the second deck, about 10 rows deep, and a quick 0-2 count for Gausman. Another solid crowd here, still filtering in on this gorgeous Saturday. And this pitch gets away from Alejandro Kirk, trying to charge in to cover the plate was Gausman, but late with the tag, and Semien scores. And it's a quick 1-0 lead for the Rangers.
Well, Semien got a good jump on that dirt ball right there. Not a bad job from Alejandro Kirk trying to block that baseball. That changeup actually bounced in front of the plate. Semien just got such a good jump from third base. The Blue Jays had no chance throwing him out.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. And a check swing. It dribbles off the handle of the bat for Seager out toward third base. The Jays infield had shifted all the way over toward the right side. And that's an infield single now on a little excuse me hit for Corey Seager.
And that's two tough breaks for Kevin Gausman. Another good sinker in on the hands of Corey Seager. That one was 98 miles an hour. Just a weak dribbler down the line. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was almost where the shortstop would normally play. He just picks that ball up, puts it in his back pocket, and Corey Seager ends up with a single.
And now Vladdy about 4 feet in on the grass. And again, just to note, yes, that is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at third base today. As Chris mentioned when he was giving the lineups off the top, it's Spencer Horwitz playing first, Justin Turner DHing, but Vladdy over at third, with Ernie Clement playing short today, and Clement is almost behind second base. He's still on the shortstop side, but he's real close to second. Josh Smith with a 1-1 count. Just took a ball moments ago after fouling off the first pitch from Gausman. None out here in the top of the first, already 1-0 Texas. That pitch inside. And it's now 2-1. By the way, I'm keeping my eye on the Olympic Games, but specifically right now, the Canadian senior men's national team, basketball, playing Greece with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Canada leads 16-7 in the first quarter.
It's a blowout.
Hey, it's early. Don't put the jinx on, man. It's now 3-1 as Gausman misses again, that time low on the fastball. Here's the pitch to Smith. He sends a shot out to left field, and underneath it to make the grab with relative ease was Stuart Baroa. There's finally one down.
And then another good fastball from Gausman. He's got that good fastball today, 96-98. Some pretty good sink on it so far, but Josh Smith just hits a weak fly ball to Stuart Baroa out in left field for out number 1.
One down here, top of the first, man on first. 1 run already in for the Rangers.
Eric, is every player on that roster, the basketball roster, are they currently in the NBA on the Canadian team?
Not every player.
Not every player. All right.
But darn close. Big cut at the 0-1, and Langford quickly down 0-2. Wyatt Langford, the right-handed bat, playing in left field today. Kevin Gausman trying to battle back after giving up the leadoff triple to Marcus Semien. The 0-2 pitch down in the dirt. It's 1-2.
Two really good split fingers right there, back to back from Kevin Gausman. I would imagine he's not going to throw a third in a row. Maybe go up around the letters with a good fastball here. See if Wyatt Langford could swing through one.
And Gausman just got Langford. Struck him out, his first strikeout of the ball game. 2 out here, top of the first.
Well, that's not where Kevin Gausman wanted that pitch. You can see Alejandro Kirk set up and in with that fastball, but Kevin Gausman just drills the bottom of that strike zone. Might have been a little low. Wyatt Langford with a quick shake of the head and looks back at home plate umpire, but that is a great pitch at 96 miles an hour.
And with 1 on and 2 out, Adolis Garcia comes up right now. Adolis Garcia, just .212 on the season, but again, the 18 home runs, the massive power that he possesses, 52 runs batted in on the season. Garcia ahead in the count, 1-0. Here's the pitch. And now 2-0 as Gausman missed with the fastball. Jays trying to win the ball game today, which would give them the series after picking up the opener last night. But of course, they will play one more tomorrow, win or lose. A 1 o'clock start, just after 1 o'clock here at Rogers Center.
And you can see the respect that Kevin Gausman has for Adolis Garcia's power. A 2-0 off-speed pitch right there. Adolis doesn't offer at it, but that was still a pretty good pitch. Pretty good split finger from Kevin Gausman.
So now Garcia way ahead in the count, 3-0. Here's the delivery. And that one caught the upper edge. Garcia thought it was a ball. He was getting ready to trot down to first. But it was called a strike, so it's now 3-1. 2 out. Top first, 1-0 Texas. The 3-1 is in for a strike down Main Street. It's now 3-2. Crowd starting to buzz a little bit here, trying to rally on and cheer on Kevin Gausman and the Jays. They want to get out of this inning. Garcia now asks for time and steps out of the box. I mentioned the game tomorrow, which will end the series against the Rangers. After that ball game, the Jays will hop on a plane and head to Baltimore for their next series, opening up 6 games against Baltimore and then New York. The 3-2 pitch outside, and Garcia gets the walk. And I mentioned that, Chris, because when we talk about the American League East, let's have a quick look at the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Baltimore lost yesterday, just 4-6 over the last 10, but still atop the division at 61-42. The Yankees at 60-45 in second. Toronto down on the bottom still at 47-56.
You misspoke, my friend. 4 games against the Baltimore Orioles.
Correct, yes. Starting with the doubleheader on Monday. Yes, my bad.
Looking forward to that.
Yep, Ryan Fabro is going to buy us dinner on Monday. That's what I heard. Either him or Toman, one of the two. If they're listening, make sure you get that Fan 590 credit card ready. In Toronto, at least. Or maybe, hey, one of the program directors on the Sportsnet Radio Network, if you want to send in a gift card or an Uber Eats. LaRue and Smith need to eat. I'm not sure when we're going to be able to fill our face in between games. The 0-1 delivery to Nathaniel Lowe is good for a strike as well. And now Gausman ahead 0-2. And again, he will try to get out of this inning with 2 on and 2 out and 1 run in. Gausman looks at it second. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 2. And the Blue Jays bats will be coming up. But they've got some work to do. They trail early. It's 1-0 Texas. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball. Brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? It's Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday, so many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays. Get to the ballpark early to enjoy outdoor activities before continuing the fun inside while you cheer on the Blue Jays.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Vladdy rocks the ball to left field. The Blue Jays have gone back-to-back.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
First inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Michael Lorenzen on the mound for the Rangers. His first pitch to George Springer. The righty-on-righty battle right here. And Springer takes one high inside. It's ball one. Second pitch catches the inside edge on a slider clocked at 80. And it's now 1-1. Springer hitting .227 on the season. Looks at the next pitch. And it's now 1-2. Got him with the slider again. Now Springer pops one up, but it's going to make its way up and over the netting. Into the seats just down below us. Count still stays at 1-2. Lorenzen 5-5 on the season. His ERA sits at 3.53. The 1-2 pitch, another one fouled off by Springer up and over the netting. And a lot of oohs and ahs, but I didn't see what happened. Somebody must have made a nice grab. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and Springer sits down to start this game.
That was a good changeup from Lorenzen. He's actually having his best season as a full-time starter. Last season in 2023, he had a 4.18 ERA in 25 starts. The year before that, in 2022, a 4.24 in 18 starts. He is continuing to get better the more he learns how to start.
The left-handed bat of Spencer Horwitz stepping in right now, swinging at the first pitch, and he sends one out to center field, but camping underneath it. Tavares makes the grab, and there are 2 outs.
Have you noticed Lorenzen's shoes yet? You're a sneakerhead.
I mean, I've got my prescription sunglasses on, so I can see pretty well, but even these glasses aren't giving me a great view. You told me that you thought that they might be either Chucks with cleats on them or Vans with cleats on them. And I believe those are Vans, but I'm not positive. Maybe we can get some confirmation at some point.
Well, I know for sure that those are Vans. He's one of the few guys in the big leagues, if not the only guy that wears Vans as cleats.
I do love seeing when the guys are wearing the Jordan 1 cleats. I know Vladdy's one of those guys that does it quite a bit, and he's at the plate right now with a 1-1 count. Swings at that 1-1, a chopper down to third in fair territory, and it eats up Josh Smith. He couldn't come up with it backhanded, and Vladdy will be at first with 2 away.
Well, I'm assuming they're going to call that a hit. That was a tough play from Josh Smith down the line. That ball wasn't hit very hard. Just sneaks inside that third base line. Josh Smith going to his right. Couldn't come up with it, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. ends up at first base. I think that's a hit. And they just did give it a hit.
2 down now as Justin Turner comes up, and that pitch looked like it was a little bit low and definitely outside, but it's called a strike, and Turner not happy about it. Down now 0-1 in the count. Next pitch outside, even at 1-1. You think that he's still a Blue Jay by the middle of next week?
Justin Turner?
Yep.
Probably not.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. And Turner sends it down the right field line, but it makes its way into the seats. Just over the netting there, down along that right field line. Missed a seeing eye single or double by about maybe 5 or 10 feet. And he's now down on the count, 1-2.
And the only thing I don't like about that is you're not really going to get much in return. It's more or less getting rid of the salary, getting rid of the money. Might get somebody's top 30 prospect in return.
Well, and you do a veteran player a solid, assuming you send him to a contending team. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Outside, low, and Turner has battled back to a full count. Turner swinging and getting a piece of that one, so we'll do it again at 3-2.
It is an absolutely gorgeous day here.
Perfect temperature, not a lot of humidity.
Perfect day for a floral shirt. Again.
Yeah, we forgot to give Show the memo. LaRue and I came twinning yet again. And Justin Turner came swinging on the 3-2 pitch. Sends a base hit out to left field, and the Blue Jays now have 2 on with 2 out as Dalton Varsho will be stepping up to the plate.
Well, I think his trade value keeps going up and up. Every single at-bat he has is a good one. At least recently, he stayed on that 3-2 changeup from Lorenzen, and he absolutely smoked it through the hole on the left side for a single.
Varsho, the left-handed bat, playing out in center field today and hoping to cash in at least one here, hoping to even up the game. Texas scored in the top of the first. They lead 1-0. Blue Jays as a team hitting .258 this season with runners in scoring position, which puts them pretty much in the middle of the pack in Major League Baseball. 14th in the MLB. 1-1 now as Varsho fouls one down the first base side. Lorenzen checks in at the sign from Kisner. Looks out at second. Here's the pitch. Varsho swing and a miss. It's now 1-2. And Varsho sends one out to left field, opposite field, back on the track, going to the wall, and it's gone! Dalton Varsho smacks one into the bullpen. And the Blue Jays lead the Rangers 3-1.
Well, I didn't think that had enough off the bat, but that ball just kept going and going and going. I think the wind got a hold of that one. And it got out of here by about 5 feet, just snuck over that wall in left field and into the Blue Jays bullpen. That's got to feel good for him. A 3-run homer, and the Blue Jays lead 3-1.
So Dalton Varsho with his 12th home run of the season gets that run that the Blue Jays gave up back and more. A 3-1 lead now here in the bottom of the first for Toronto. Alejandro Kirk steps in. First pitch, good for a strike. And an 0-1 count. Second pitch from Lorenzen, no good. Missed with the sinker. It's now 1-1.
That's Dalton Varsho's second home run since May. That is a wild stat.
That's a drought. The 1-1 pitch down in the dirt outside. It's now 2-1 to Alejandro Kirk.
He had 6 homers in April, 4 in May, just 1 in June, and that's his first home run in July.
Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you in the Timbermart broadcast booth in the bottom of the first, with the Blue Jays now leading 3-1. Coming off that 6-5 walk-off win last night and striking early here this afternoon. Kirk sends one into right field. It's going to be a base hit. All of the damage coming for Toronto right now with 2 down. Let's keep the good times rolling. It was a strikeout to start the inning for Springer. Then Horwitz flew it to center. And then an infield base hit for Guerrero. A single to left for Turner. A 3-run shot for Varsho. And now a base hit to right field for Alejandro Kirk. Davis Schneider now steps in. Playing at second today. The average has dipped down to 218. But he would love to keep this inning going right here with Kirk at first. Ahead in the count, 1-0, now 2-0, as Lorenzen just missed with the fastball. Came back with a strike. Got him with the sinker. Now 2-1. Schneider fouls that one off. And now the count even at 2-2. Did have an extra base hit last night, which was his first in over a month. He would love to get a hold of another one right here. The 2-2 pitch, high and inside. Counts now full.
Good AB right here from Davis Schneider. A good rip on that previous fastball. That was a little bit elevated. Let's see if he gets another one here.
The 3-2 pitch fouls it up and over the netting and way up above us. I think that might have made it to the 5th deck.
You flinched, didn't you?
Oh, no.
That was about 200 feet from you, and I saw you sweating.
No, I was looking. I got Show Ali to protect me.
Oh, that
anyway.
wasn't sweat? That was just you looking?
No. That's just the sweat from that chocolate chip cookie that I ate. The 3-2 pitch again, high and inside. Schneider gets the free pass. And the 2-out rally continues for Toronto.
And here comes Mike Maddox to chat with Michael Lorenzen. You could tell he really doesn't have his good off-speed pitches today. He's got some pretty good zip on that fastball, but that last breaking ball there almost hit Davis Schneider in the helmet. He had to jump out of the way, and Mike Maddox probably will just tell Lorenzen, hey, calm down, get this last out, and get us back to the dugout.
And the hero from last night is getting set for his first at-bat of the ballgame. Ernie Clement with his first career walk-off hit in the bottom of the 9th last night. He cashed in the winning run for Toronto and was mugged out at second base. Here's the pitch from Lorenzen. And Clement swinging at the first pitch on a sinking liner. It's going to drop down in center field, and hustling around to score is Alejandro Kirk, and the Blue Jays tag on another one. It's 4-1.
Well, Leody Taveras had a tough time with that bounce. He's probably not used to the turf out there in center field. He bobbled it a little bit, allowing Davis Schneider to get to third. Alejandro Kirk coming around to score. Blue Jays now lead 4-1.
And again, all of this coming with 2 down. As Stuart Baroa comes up, the left-handed bat of Baroa, the switch hitter batting from the left side today. And what a perfect time to get his first career hit right here. Keep the inning going. First pitch, high from Lorenzen, who's now thrown 34 pitches in this bottom half of the first. Runners at first and third. Schneider on third, Clement at first. Baroa swinging at the 1-0. Even in the count now, 1-1.
Michael Lorenzen has given up 5 hits in this inning so far, 1 walk, and like you mentioned, 4 earned runs.
The 1-1 pitch, way outside, way high. It's now 2-1. Toronto up 4-1, bottom of the first. And now throwing over to first And hearing it from the Blue Jay crowd is Michael Lorenzen. The leg kick and the delivery. Fouled off straight back into the netting by Baroa. It's now 2-2.
I wouldn't mind if Ernie Clement took off here. 4 stolen bases, get another guy into scoring position with 2 outs. Maybe score on a double if Stuart Baroa gets a hold of one here.
Baroa digs in. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And Clement does indeed take off. They fake the throw down to second. Nobody covering the bag. So Schneider wasn't buying any of that. He stays firmly at third. And as you just called, it is second and third now with 2 runners in scoring position for Stuart Baroa.
Now all it takes is a little bloop, and this is a 6-1 lead for Toronto.
And Baroa fouls this one off just to our left.
Stuart Baroa has a little bit of Juan Soto in him. Does a little bit of the stare out at the pitcher when he gets a good hack at one, maybe a little bit of a shuffle. Not as animated, but pretty close.
And the pitch comes way inside, down in the dirt, and Baroa gets a free pass. So we've gone through the order as George Springer, who led off this inning with a strikeout, will get a second at-bat in this bottom half of the first inning. Bases loaded, 2 out, Toronto leading 4-1.
And like I mentioned earlier, Michael Lorenzen is really struggling putting guys away. Actually, here comes Bruce Bochy. They're going to yank him from this ball game.
Well, that gives us an opportunity for an early visit from our host and the man in the shades today, the Ray-Bans, Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Eric and Chris. Before we check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk today. Nick Ashbourne is here at the Rogers Center with me. He and I have the post-game show after the final out. We'll take your calls and texts. I'll throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. You can text us anytime at 590-590. Name and location, standard message, and data rates may apply. Let's check that out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised a trophy in 1992. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every play at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. In Paris, the cauldron has been lit, which means the 2024 Summer Olympics are officially open and a number of events have already begun. Canada actually already winning their first medal of these Summer Games. It is appropriately 17-year-old Summer McIntosh with a silver medal in the women's 400-meter freestyle. Australia's Ariane Titmus, who is the defending Olympic champ, she takes the gold again. Bronze goes to the USA's Katie Ledecky. In a couple of minutes, Taylor Ruck, Maggie McNeil, Penny Alexiak alongside McIntosh will race in the women's 4x100 freestyle relay. On the pitch, the penalties for DroneGate have been handed down from FIFA. They are pretty stiff. First of all, the 2 offending staffers, head coach Bev Priestman, have been banned for a full year from any soccer-related activity. Canada Soccer has been fined 100,000 Swiss francs, and perhaps the steepest penalty, the team itself has been docked 6 points in Olympic play, which means essentially they would have to beat both France and Colombia outright and hope they are one of the 2 best third-place teams of all groups. But a single loss for Team Canada, or even a draw perhaps, would likely spell elimination from the tournament. Either way, they will take on France tomorrow morning. And on the hard court, the men's national basketball team taking on Greece right now with 5 minutes and change in the second quarter to go. It's Canada 35, Greece 25. Again, in the second quarter, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander largely doing whatever he wants. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Back to the action. Here's Eric and Chris.
Thanks very much, Show. And obviously, Show's got a more updated score than I do watching. It must be on delay because Canada just hit a 3 to go up 10. There's the 35, Show. We appreciate that. Jose Urena coming into the ballgame now to pitch for the Texas Rangers. And he has inherited 3 on base. The bases are juiced for George Springer. First pitch in for a strike to Springer. The 0-1 is also a strike. And quickly now, Springer down 0-2. George didn't like that call. He thought it was low, maybe even a little bit inside. hoping to avoid a second strikeout in the inning. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Urena. Misses that one. It's now 1-2.
Urena's got a big fastball, a lot of movement, 96 to 98. He's actually started 6 games this season for the Texas Rangers, 72 innings pitched in just 24 games, so he'll probably go 4 or 5 innings today.
And Springer fouls off the 1-2 pitch out toward the first base dugout side, the Rangers dugout. A good 20-30 rows deep, and the crowd trying to cheer on Springer and the Jays to keep this rally going again. All of this damage has come with 2 outs. 4 runs and 3 on base with 2 outs. The 1-2, Springer gets underneath one, but it's a high and not very deep fly ball to right field. Making the grab is Garcia, and that will finally end the inning. But the Blue Jays get 4 off 5 hits. They lead Texas 4-1 heading to the second inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
You're probably thinking, why do Deadpool and Wolverine have their own Sirius XM channel? This is called press. You have to promote your movie. Deadpool and Wolverine in theaters now. So jump in for some wild music, hardly any sarcasm.
Okay, guys, let's get out there and make a difference.
And an irresponsible amount of, you know. Deadpool and Wolverine Radio, now for a limited time exclusively in the SiriusXM app. Search Deadpool and Wolverine.
It's fantasy football season, because we say it is.
Travis Kelce, touchdown!
From fantasy football strategies to players you need to draft or avoid.
Christian McCaffrey is one of the riskiest #1 overall picks in fantasy football history.
Fantasy Sports Radio is your home to win.
There is no bigger value today than Dak Prescott.
If you're not preparing for the 2024 fantasy football season, you're already losing. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Nothing matches the passion, the excitement, the history-making moments of college sports. And nobody takes you inside the greatest campuses and stadiums across the country like Sirius XM College Sports Radio. Listen to all of the play-by-play action, expert analysis, and in-depth interviews with your favorite team. No matter the season, we have something for you. Your home for all things college sports is on Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
After the game, join us on MLB Network Radio. We're talking baseball with you all season long on SiriusXM Channel 89 and the SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
Welcome back, Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you. Top of the second inning, Blue Jays leading 4-1. Jonah Heim will lead things off here for the Rangers. First pitch from Kevin Gausman is good for a strike. Got him with a fastball. And ahead in the count, 0-1. Second pitch. Missing inside. Another fastball clocked at 94. It's 1-1. Heim with 9 home runs on the season. 42 runs batted in. His Rangers down by 3 here. Again, top of the second inning. Rips a foul ball down the first base line. Bounces off the wall, picked up by the ball boy down there, who's going to give the fan a souvenir. And Heim is down in the count now, 1-2. Swing and a miss, strikeout for Gausman. There's one away.
And that thing is nasty today. That split finger from Kevin Gausman moving all over the place. That actually started down the middle and broke away. Such horizontal movement off the plate. Jonah Heim kind of just flails at it for the strikeout.
Leody Taveras comes up for the first time in this ballgame. The switch-hitting center fielder swings at the first pitch, sends it out to left field. Camping underneath it, in the sunshine to make the grab, is Stuart Baroa. There's 2 away.
Feels like Baroa's been here a long time, still doesn't have a big league hit. Let's get him a big league hit today. How about that?
It's happening.
He scored last night. What did he do? Walk earlier.
He's getting it today. I feel it.
I feel like he's ready. He deserves it.
I'll tell you what, he was sending out the positive mojo and the good vibes before the ball game, too, because I was watching him for a good 10 minutes signing autographs behind the plate and then up and down left field as well. And I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus here. He's the only player I saw that was taking the time behind the plate and down the line. So that, to me, is some positive mojo going out into the world. He's getting that hit today. And if he doesn't, well, he's still a good guy.
That counts for something.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but it counts for something.
And I saw our man Jamie Campbell come into the dugout and take like 2 fistful of gum. And then he was down the line handing out gum to all the kids. So shout out to Jamie Campbell, too. And a ball ripped into left field, but right at the man we're talking about, Stuart Baroa. Kisner lines out. Baroa busy, and look at that. Turns around and rifles the ball into the stands out in left field from about 50 yards away. How do you not love Stuart Baroa? Jays leading 4-1 heading to the bottom of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Lumos. Witches, wizards, and muggles come down to the core as Roger Center transforms into Hogwarts. Harry Potter-themed entertainment and activities around the ballpark.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Magic moments create core memories. So fly down to Roger Center on Friday, August 9th, and get one of 4 Blue Jays Harry Potter Hogwarts House Raglan shirts. Harry Potter Night. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Hey, this is Kevin Gausman. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back. Bottom of the second inning, Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you. First pitch in for a strike to Spencer Horwitz to lead things off here in the second. Blue Jays leading 4-1. Urania comes way inside, and Horwitz has to show off the dance moves to get out of the way of that one. It's now 1-1. Horwitz fouls off that pitch, came in with a changeup, Urania did. It's now 1-2. Horwitz flying out to center field in his first at bat. An inning ago. The 1-2 pitch. And it dribbles down right in front of the plate. Did it go foul? It did. It was right in front of the plate, and Kisner, tried to jump on it right away, but wasn't able to get to it in time. So fresh life here for Spencer Horwitz.
Yeah, it looked to me like it never got out of the batter's box. Yeah, kind of just spun back. Kisner made a really nice play, throwing off 1 foot to first base, but that ball was just foul.
So we'll do it again at 1-2. Here's the pitch. Slapped down to first on a couple of bounces. Picked up there at first. And the underhand toss to Urania from Nathaniel Lowe. Then there's one away.
Now batting, number 27, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
And that is our future announcer, presented by Rogers, 10-year-old Sean from Buffalo, New York. Nice job there, Sean. I'm sure he's a part of Bill's Mafia as well. So he's like a brother to me.
You're out that way, aren't you?
Out that way.
You're west GTA.
I love that you think that you live about 15 kilometers closer to downtown Toronto than I do.
Let's do Google Maps. We'll see how far we are from Rogers Center.
Yeah, but the kilometers don't matter. It's the time it takes with the GTA traffic. And the 1-1 pitch is hit hard to third. And making the play is Josh Smith, who picks it up and throws out Vladimir Guerrero at first. Second inning presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. 2 down as Justin Turner steps in. This is when the rally started last inning. Was with 2 out. Let's see if the Blue Jays can do it again. Inside pitch to Turner and a 1-0 count.
I tell you what, Ureña's got some good stuff. So much sink on that fastball. That last fastball right there running in on Justin Turner was 97.
And a slider now at 86 and a 1-1 count. Turner with a single in his first at-bat last inning. And as I mentioned, he was the one that got things continuing to roll after Vladdy got on base. Then Turner did as well. And it was all with 2 out. 2 out right now for the Blue Jays, leading 4-1 here in the bottom of the second. Turner coming off a night last night where he was 2 for 5. His 17th multi-hit game of the season. The 2-2 pitch. Dribbles one foul down the third base side. We'll do it again at 2-2. Ureña with the pitch. Turner gets underneath it. Skies went out to right field, but it's not deep. And Garcia camps underneath it, makes the grab, and retires the side. Toronto still leading 4-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Blue Jays up 3-2 on a wacky play to give Toronto the lead.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Prince George, BC and Calgary, Alberta. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. And mentioning Calgary, Alberta, just a big shout out to a lot of people in Alberta who are going through some horrific ordeals with the wildfires in the province of Alberta. So if you're tuning in, we're with you right now and wish you and your family all the best especially in the Jasper area. It is not a good scene, to say the least, in Alberta right now. So our thoughts are with you, folks. As the Blue Jays lead here 4-1, top of the third. Marcus Semien leading things off in this inning. And he just took a ball to pull even in the count at 1-1. Gausman with the pitch, swing and a miss. Semien down 1-2. Semien had a triple off the first pitch of the ball game. He scored to give Texas a 1-0 lead, but Toronto has come back to take a 4-1 lead. That pitch fouled off, so the count stays at 1-2.
That was one of those little league triples, a weak pop-up down the line. George Springer dove for it. The ball got by him, and he ended up at third base. As a pitcher, you just shake your head.
The 1-2 pitch, high. Semien with a check swing, and Roberto Ortiz down at first. The umpire says, nope, he was good. That was clean. Count now sits at 2-2. Fouls off another one. So the count stays at 2-2. Gausman looks in at Alejandro Kirk, gets the sign. The leg kick and the delivery. Semien sends another one foul. This one down the right field side, way into the stands. And again, it's 2-2.
Semien's having a tough time with that Gausman fastball. That one right there, 97, in on the hands. I would tend to stay hard if I'm Gausman here. Don't mess around. Don't throw something soft. Throw that fastball that's elevated.
He did exactly that, just didn't elevate it.
Yeah, he tried to get it up there, just threw it below the strike zone. That fastball was 96.
So the count now full at 3-2. The Canadian senior men's basketball team going into the half up 10 on Greece. On your Olympic out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by the St. Louis Bar and Grill, as Gausman just missed on another fastball, and Semien fights back to earn the free pass.
Is Greece supposed to be good, though? I know they have Giannis, but were they supposed to be good?
They're decent. They should. I don't think
not as good as Canada.
No, they're not a medal contender in my opinion. So this should be a victory for Canada. Should be.
I love that we're getting dual broadcasting right now. You and Show are loving the basketball. I'm doing the Blue Jays.
First pitch swinging, line drive. Out to the glove of George Springer, and Corey Seager sits down. There's one away. We're going to make you into a basketball guy by the time.
Hey, I love basketball. I'm just joking around with you.
The key will be getting you on a Raptor broadcast at some point. Maybe you can come like co-host the halftime show with Show Ali one night or something. Pre-game show. I've heard about your game on those beach courts at Venice Beach. One down for Texas. Again, first pitch swinging. This time it's Josh Smith into left center, and over to make the grab on the run is Dalton Varsho, and quickly there's two away.
You ever played ball on those Venice Beach outdoor courts?
I have.
That'll change your life.
I don't think I deserved to be there, but I did play. We were on a road trip with the Raptors one time and went out there with a couple of guys from the traveling party, and we played for about an hour, and I got thoroughly beaten.
The only thing I don't love about those courts is it's always windy.
Yeah, it is.
Could be worse.
There are worse things to do than to be hanging out on the beach playing basketball. First pitch into Wyatt Langford is good for a strike. Another big fastball from Gausman, clocked at 96, and he's ahead in the count 0-1. With Semien first, two down here, top of the third. Blue Jays leading the Rangers 4-1. Here's the pitch. And this one's going to make it down. And will it get into the gap? It won't. Springer comes sliding to cut it off, but it's still going to be enough for Semien to turn the corner at third. There's going to be a play at the plate, but safe and scoring all the way from first is Marcus Semien, standing up, didn't even need to slide, and an RBI base hit for Wyatt Langford.
Well, with two outs, Semien was going on contact. George Springer actually did a good job cutting this ball off. He just knocked it down a bit. I think that if he comes up clean, with that ball and makes a good throw into second base. Semien might have stayed at third base, but he bobbled that baseball. Semien comes around third base and scores, and it is 4-2 now for the Toronto Blue Jays.
And both runs for the Rangers scored by Marcus Semien. It's now 4-2 Toronto. And Adolis Garcia comes up. Clearly a threat anytime he stands in with the power that he possesses. This game could be tied with one swing. Gausman trying to avoid that. He's down in the count 1-0 right now. A quick look out at second to Langford. Here's the pitch to Garcia. Swing and a miss. Even now 1-1. We're just over 24 hours away from Jays Care. 50-50 grand prize draw, and one lucky fan could be taking home over $520,000. Tickets as low as $10. There's no reason to not join in. Visit bluejays.com/5050 in Ontario and Nova Scotia. Garcia takes the 1-1 pitch down low. It's now 2-1.
Adolis Garcia has 108 strikeouts this season. That means that if you get a strike on him, you can elevate, you can bury that split finger. Nothing over the middle. This guy's got a ton of power.
The pitch way outside. It's now 3-1. Well, with numbers like that, it sounds like he's either striking out or hitting a home run. There's very little in between.
Have you seen his biceps?
Yeah, it's like I'm looking in the mirror, to be honest with you. The 3-1. And it's ripped up the middle, diving but unable to come up with it. At second base was Davis Schneider. It ricochets off his glove into center field. And coming around to score is Langford. So Texas has cut the Toronto lead now to 4-3.
Well, again, if Davis Schneider dives for that baseball and comes up with it, Wyatt Langford will stay at third base. Adolis Garcia would have had a single regardless, but the ball ricochets off of Schneider's glove just far enough away. Langford comes around third base and scores the third run of the ball game for the Texas Rangers.
So now Texas trying to rip a page out of the Blue Jays book to some extent, doing their damage with 2 outs. It started with Semien getting a walk to begin this inning, but then a line out to right field by Seager, a fly out to center by Smith. There were 2 down. Then Langford gets on, and now Garcia gets on, and just like that, 2 runs have scored, and the Blue Jay lead has been cut to 1. The first pitch in for a ball, just missing with the fastball, clocked at 95 to Nathaniel Lowe. The left-handed bat of Lowe struck out in his first at-bat. Swinging at the 1-0. Fouls it off down into the dirt. It's 1-1.
That actually looked like Nathaniel Lowe fouled that ball off the inner thigh of Alejandro Kirk. Didn't really react, so maybe I'm wrong, but didn't look like a good spot to be getting a foul ball.
Fouls off the next pitch. It's 1-2. And the Jumbotron is telling me that Nathaniel Lowe fell victim to the bad media guide picture. Just go to Google if you want to know what I'm talking about.
He's got a good mustache.
When was picture retake day? I think he missed it. Gausman with the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Lowe sits down for the second time in the ball game, and the Blue Jays hold on to the lead. But it's been cut to 4-3 as the Toronto Bats are up next. Bottom of third is coming. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
2 professional IndyCar drivers hop on a microphone and chit-chat twice a week. What do you call that?
Is it a podcast?
It is indeed, Alex.
James, can we just do our regular promo intro, please?
Just trying to be cool and have fun with it.
Well, you're not cool or fun.
Fine. Hi, everybody. I'm James Hinchcliffe.
And I'm Alexander Rossi.
And we're the hosts of Off Track with Hinch and Rossi, a Sirius XM podcast. If you want to hear more of us agreeing and disagreeing on all things related and unrelated to IndyCar, tune in every Tuesday and Thursday. You won't want to miss it.
Listen to Off Track now wherever you get your podcasts.
The battle for regional soccer supremacy is on in the Leagues Cup.
What's up, insiders? All right, I got to take a second here and ask you guys to please check out our social media pages. Down below, you'll see I've got a couple links here, TikTok and Twitter. The handle is at @TS_insider. Starting to do some work over there on the socials. So please let us know what you want to see in the comments, and we're trying to grow these socials up so that by hockey season we have a formidable base of fans through the social media networks as well as right here on YouTube. Thanks for hanging out with us. Please go check us out over on the social media networks, and we'll see you guys back in the chat. Cheers, everybody.
Address, open it up.
It's all golf, all the time. On SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
The Sportsnet Radio Network.
Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you from the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Hit a home run on your next home improvement for a great selection of renovation products and quality brands. Timber Mart has the bases loaded for a grand slam on every project. Batter up. Timber Mart is Canada's building center. First pitch to Dalton Varsho in for a strike as Varsho leads things off here in the third. Swinging at the 0-1, sends it towards second, sliding, making the grab is Semien, and then quickly turning to throw out the speedy Varsho at first. What a play by Marcus Semien.
Well, Semien not only has power, but he has range as well. Ranging to his right up the middle, sliding on that left knee and making a good throw across the diamond to nail Varsho. That's a great play right there from Semien.
So after getting the 3-run homer in the first inning, Varsho sits down in his second at-bat. It brings up Alejandro Kirk, who chops one to to third, first pitch swinging, and Josh Smith makes the grab, throws out Kirk, and there is very quickly 2 away here in the third. It brings up Davis Schneider, who walked in his first at-bat. Jose Urena, who came in relief of Michael Lorenzen. With the first pitch to Schneider, it's good for a strike. Got him with the fastball, 0-1. And now quickly 0-2. A sinker clocked at 97. And that one way outside. It's now 1-2. And Schneider looks at the next pitch, which just missed outside on a fastball at 98. Davis pulls even now at 2-2. Ernie Clement on deck. Here's the pitch. And Schneider sends it to right field. It's going to get into the corner. That'll be a fair ball. Schneider getting on his horse. Turns around first, making his way to second. He slides in, didn't need to. It's a double either way for Davis Schneider.
And if you hit that ball to right field, you better be on your horse because Adolis Garcia has one of the best arms in baseball. He picks that ball up and throws a rocket to second base. Davis Schneider fortunately beats that ball out, but that's a good swing right there, hitting that ball the other way down the line.
So we'll see if the Blue Jays can get this 2-out rally cooking again, as they did in the first inning. First pitch into Ernie Clement, good for a strike. He checked his swing, but they checked down at first, and Roberto Ortiz says, yes, indeed, Clement went. It's 0-1. Ernie's average up to 262. The 0-1 pitch. Clement sends it through the left side. Schneider turning the corner at third. He's coming home. Play at the plate. And he's gunned down. The head first dive from Davis Schneider, but Wyatt Langford came up throwing, and he put it on the money to Andrew Kisner. And that will end the inning for the Jays. We will head to the fourth. Toronto leading 4-3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The biggest names in NASCAR talk are now with SiriusXM.
Hey, this is Denny Hamlin, host of Actions Detrimental, driver of the number 11 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, and co-owner of 2311 Racing. Join me and my co-host Jared Allen every Monday for a recap of each NASCAR race from the driver's seat. We'll break down how my race went and hopefully ending in victory lane.
Hear Actions Detrimental plus every incredible podcast from Dirty Mo Media right now on the SiriusXM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription? What? Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89. Or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike three and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy football players, learn winning strategies right now on Fantasy Sports Radio to help you draft a winning team on Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Top of the fourth inning. Fourth inning is presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. And the first batter of this inning, Jonah Heim for the Rangers, with Texas trailing Toronto 4-3. Davis Schneider thrown out at home plate moments ago to end the third inning as Toronto was trying to tack on at least one more run. But they still, again, do have a one-run lead. Heim down in the count now 0-1. And now 0-2 as Gausman comes with a four-seam fastball to quickly get ahead. Chops one out towards short, but it's picked up quickly by Ernie Clement, who rips it over to first to throw it Heim. There's one away.
Ernie Clement was playing directly up the middle. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., today's third baseman, was almost where the shortstop normally would play. They kind of crossed paths. Ernie Clement makes that play backhanded and throws a nice throw across the diamond.
Leody Taveras comes up now. And the first pitch in for a strike on a fastball. Gausman ahead 0-1. Vladdy playing with his toes on the grass out at third. And the infield shifted around again as Clement is not behind second, but much closer to second than you might ordinarily be out at short. He's pretty deep, though. He's almost out onto the outfield grass, whereas Vladdy is in on the infield grass, and now he'll back up a little bit with Gausman ahead in the count 1-2.
He is way off the line, probably 35 feet off that third base line.
Gausman comes set. The leg kick and the delivery. And it's a strikeout for Kevin Gausman. Taveras didn't like the call, but he sits down looking. There's two away.
That's a pitcher's pitch right there, just off the plate outside, 95. A good amount of sink to it. I know Taveras doesn't like that call, but looked pretty good to me, right off the outside part.
The fifth strikeout of the afternoon for Kevin Gausman. And it brings up Andrew Kisner, the number 9 hitter. Chops one out to short, picked up by Clement. Throws it over to first to Spencer Horwitz, and that will do it. The Rangers go down 1-2-3, and on to the bottom of the fourth we go with the Blue Jays leading 4-3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays. Get to the ballpark early to enjoy outdoor activities before continuing the fun inside while you cheer on the Blue Jays.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
We're two men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're two men in a truck.
Two men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
That ball is gone. Third home run in 4 batters for the Blue Jays.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you from the Timber Mart broadcast booth as Stuart Burrow gets set to lead things off for the Blue Jays here in the bottom half of the fourth. Blue Jays leading 4-3. Texas was up 1-0. Toronto then got 4 to take a 4-1 lead. Texas got back 2 to cut it to 4-3. And again, that's where we stand in the bottom of the fourth with Toronto up 1. Jose Urena still in the ballgame. Burrow tries to slap down a bunt, but it dribbles foul. And he's now down on the count 0-1. He walked in his first at-bat, still in search of his first career major league hit. And now a swing and a miss on the 0-1 pitch. Got him with the changeup and Burrow down 0-2. Burrow is stepping out of the box for a moment to gather himself. Now he digs in. Urena with the pitch. Came way inside. Burrow contorted out of the way. It's 1-2.
Stuart Burrow is still 0 for 5 in his young big league career, but he has 2 stolen bases.
And he just got caught looking. The changeup was right on the outside edge, and Burrow got caught looking at it. He strikes out. There's one away.
Lots of tough AB, a guy that throws upper 90s with good sink, sinking away from you as a left-handed batter, and then he flips in that changeup right there. That is a tough matchup for Stuart Burrow.
Back to the top of the order we go. George Springer in the 4th inning here, already with his 3rd at-bat of the ballgame. He's 0 for 2, struck out and flew out in his first 2 at-bats. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that one down in the dirt, a little bit outside as well. It's 1-1. And now Springer sends a bit of a weak grounder out to short. It's picked up by Seager on to first to record the out, and there are 2 away. Toronto leading 4-3 here in the 4th inning. Spencer Horwitz playing at first base today. Brings up the left-handed bat. He'll try and get something cooking here. The Rangers have shifted their infield, with now Seager playing almost directly behind second base. And third baseman Josh Smith pretty much in the shortstop position, just on the dirt right before the grass starts, about maybe a 1.5 feet in front of it. Horwitz quickly ahead in the count 2-0 as Urena just missed with the slider. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Inside, and now 3-0. Urena with the leg kick and the delivery. And Horwitz taking the whole way, understandably so. Good for a strike. It's 3-1. And this one fouled off on the left field side into the second deck as Urena battles back now to have the count sit at full. 3-2. And Horwitz just went down swinging. A great battle back from Urena to sit down the Jays side. And on to the fifth inning we go with Toronto leading 4-3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
When it's time to turn up. Turn to Flex 2K, a Sirius XM channel that takes you from 2000s bling
And you bling like the Neptune sound.
through the rise of trap.
Let's go, man.
Nothing but the hip-hop bangers that define the first 2 decades of the millennium. Flex 2K, Channel 49, and the Sirius XM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app. You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Radio Network.
The fifth inning is brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins awarded another 150 grants worth $20,000 each to entrepreneurs across Canada. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz at goodsparkgrants.ca. What's that website, Eric?
goodsparkgrants.ca. Gonna get you a t-shirt made with that. Mr. Fifth Inning, Chris LaRue. And to lead things off in this fifth inning, it's the top of the order for the Rangers with Marcus Semien, who rips one out to short, scooped up by Ernie Clement, throws on over to first to retire Semien. There's one away. So for the first time in this ball game, Marcus Semien won't be on base. He has 2 of the 3 Texas runs. Rangers trailing the Blue Jays 4-3 here in the top of the fifth. Corey Seager steps in. And swings at the first pitch out into left field. Camped underneath it. Stuart Burrow makes the grab in the shade. And there's 2 away.
The ball's actually flying out to left field. That ball off Corey Seager's bat, I thought had no business getting to where it did. Stuart Burrow catching that thing right in front of the warning track out in left center. A little bit of a wind gust out there. Saw that with Dalton Varsho's homer earlier in the ball game.
Now I'm looking at the banners out in center field above the Jumbotron, and I mean, they're moving, but they're not blowing around a ton. I don't know how much the wind is, or maybe it's just kind of a dead air, which is making the ball move that much more as well. Who knows? I'm not a meteorologist. The 1-0 pitch in for a strike. It's now 1-1.
But you do have an iPhone.
No, I'm not a minion that has an iPhone.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't.
And this one sent into center field as Smith got into it, and Josh Smith is going to fly out to end the inning for the Rangers. So they quickly go 1-2-3, and on to the bottom of the fifth we go. Blue Jays leading 4-3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Baseball's in full swing. Why not experience the excitement of every MLB game on SiriusXM?
Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
It's always a home game when you listen on the all-new SiriusXM app.
100 miles an hour. 11 strikeouts for Skeens.
Get closer to your team with your hometown announcers.
What a man. Paul Skeens. You gotta love it, Pittsburgh.
And hear daily insight and analysis from our team of former players and executives on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89. It's fantasy football season, because we say it is.
Travis Kelce, touchdown!
From fantasy football strategies to players you need to draft or avoid.
Christian McCaffrey is one of the riskiest #1 overall picks in fantasy football history.
Fantasy Sports Radio is your home to win.
There is no bigger value today than Dak Prescott.
If you're not preparing for the 2024 fantasy football season, you're already losing. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app. The most important person in sports is you, the fan.
Let me tell you something. I'm a real fan.
And your place for sports talk is Mad Dog Sports Radio, where your voice is heard all day long.
I couldn't wait to get into the truck, turn on 82.
Share the thrill of victory.
The joy, the jubilation. I can't stop smiling.
And the agony of defeat.
When is this franchise going to realize people really care about this?
Passionate sports fans call 888-MAD-DOG-6.
You gotta love sports.
Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the SiriusXM app. Fantasy football players, learn winning strategies right now on Fantasy Sports Radio to help you draft a winning team on Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
Welcome back. Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you. Bottom of the fifth. Blue Jays leading 4-3. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. steps in for his third at-bat of the ball game. 1 for 2. Here's the pitch from Urena, and it's fouled up just to our right and up and over our head. And now Vladdy stands in with the count sitting at 1-1. Did that ball ricochet and fall down? Are you looking over?
Yeah, I just wanted to see who caught that.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Caught the outside edge. It's 1-2.
I'm turning into you. Always curious to see a fan grab a foul ball.
I want one in the booth. That's what I want. And Vladdy sends one into right center. It's into the gap. It's one bounce, two bounces off the wall, and Vladdy around for a stand-up double to start this fifth inning.
Such a good piece of hitting from Vlad. He ends up with that leadoff double, a slider that was off the plate outside, and he just goes out, almost hits it with one hand into the gap in right center.
That brings up Justin Turner. Toronto will hope to do some damage here in this fifth inning to tack on a couple more after they had their 4-1 lead cut to 4-3. First pitch to Turner is called a strike. That looked like it was well outside of the strike zone. Turner doesn't like it. Batting .246 on the season. Down 0-1 in the count. This one fouled off into the netting above the Rangers' dugout. And now Turner down 0-2.
Yeah, you don't see that reaction from Turner very often. After that first strike was called out off the plate, he had a scowl on his face.
A quick look at it, second to Vladdy. Here's the pitch, and it's sent straight back to Urena. It ricochets off him to second, and Semien couldn't make the grab, and Turner gets down to first, and he's safe as Vladdy scampers over to third.
Well, that ground ball off the bat of Justin Turner ricocheted off Urena's glove, ricocheted off Semien's glove in center field, and then Corey Seager ended up with it, just puts it in his back pocket, doesn't have a play, but Justin Turner ends up with a single. Now there's runners on first and third and still nobody out for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Brings up Dalton Varsho, who opened up the scoring for the Blue Jays back in the first inning with a 3-run shot to the opposite field. Swinging at the first pitch, fouls one off to our left, and an 0-1 count. Varsho put it into the Blue Jays bullpen to give Toronto that 3-1 lead. It eventually became 4-1. It now is 4-3 here in the bottom of the fifth. The pitch from Urania. Another one fouled off in a similar spot by Varsho. And he's now down in the count 0-2. Crowd starting to buzz a little bit again. Maybe sensing a rally here from Toronto in this fifth inning. Vladdy at third. Turner at first. The 0-2 pitch to Varsho. And it's down low. It's 1-2. Urania with a quick look over at first. Dare I say Justin Turner's not going anywhere. Here's the pitch. And Varsho gets underneath it. It's into shallow center. Vladdy is on the bag, but that's too short for him to tag. And unfortunately, it will stay as is with runners on the corners and now one down.
This injury report is brought to you by Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Pereira will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca.
And the injury news was not good for the Blue Jays today.
Yeah, no, it was probably about worst case scenario.
You want to break the news to the folks? I mean, if they were listening earlier to our pregame show, they would already know the info. But if they're just tuning into the broadcast right now, Toronto got some serious bad news to one of their young up-and-comers earlier today.
Well, this particular injury report will focus on Ricky Tiedemann. Of course, the Blue Jays' number one prospect.
Alejandro Kirk with a base hit into center field. That will cash in Vladdy. Turner stops at second, but it's an RBI single for Alejandro Kirk.
Tiedemann was dealing with forearm tightness after landing on the IL with left ulnar nerve inflammation earlier in the season. And then Tiedemann decided to go meet with Dr. Keith Meister and Dr. Neil Elatrash for a second and third opinion, which is pretty rare. And they let him know that he's going to undergo a full Tommy John surgery on Tuesday.
Expected to miss 12 plus months.
That'll keep him out pretty much all of next season.
Davis Schneider steps in. And he got the first pitch in, the sinker missing with the ball. The second pitch, he got all crossed up by the changeup. Kind of an excuse me half swing at that pitch. And now the count even at 1-1. Turner at first, at second. Kirk at first. 2 on, 1 down. As the 1-1 pitch comes well inside, it's now 2-1 to Schneider. Toronto leading 5-3 here in the bottom of the fifth. And Schneider just smacked one to center field. Back into the shadows toward the track. Making the grab is Taveras. Tagging and going from second to third is Turner. And there's 2 away. Off the bat, I thought that thing might travel a little bit further. But Schneider gave it a good ride nevertheless.
Yeah, that was a skyscraper. I'm not sure that he thought it was gone off the bat, but that was a moonshot from Davis Schneider. Justin Turner tags from second and ends up at third base. Runners on first and third now with 2 outs.
As Ernie Clement steps in now. Clement working on a 2-for-2 day. Coming off the big performance last night with the walk-off win. And he swings at the first pitch, skies one out into shallow left field. The shortstop Seager back for it, makes the grab, and that will retire the side. But the Blue Jays do get one to push their lead a little bit higher. It's 4-3 as we head to the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown.
What's up, insiders? Have you hit that subscribe button yet? Are you an insider? 31,925 of you already are, and we appreciate you growing this amazing, amazing Toronto sports community. If you haven't done so yet, please do hit that subscribe button and help this community get over 32,000 and keep on growing. We're not stopping. Let's head it all the way to the top. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Thanks for being subscribers, aka insiders. We'll see you guys in the chat. Go Jays, go.
Order plans to get the job done with Canada's building center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Mondays on City TV, Jen's journey for love continues.
I'm gonna fall in love, and I'm gonna do it my way.
On The Bachelorette.
Jen is truly a woman of a man's dreams.
I just feel so hopeful.
But finding the one.
I'm falling for you, and I'm not afraid to say it.
What could go wrong?
Will be easier said than done.
This is all a show to you, bro. You stand no chance.
Do you think you're ready for an engagement? I just don't want to choose the wrong person again.
The Bachelorette. All new Mondays 8, 7 Central on City TV. Or stream it on City TV Plus.
Hey, this is Chad Green. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
I was brought up in the front row, that fire and brimstone.
Sixth inning is brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins is a big fan of small biz. That's why they awarded another $3 million to small business owners across the country. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz this year at goodsparkgrants.ca. Top of the sixth inning, Kevin Gausman getting set to deal to Wyatt Langford. Blue Jays leading 5-3. Langford swings at the first pitch, sends it out to center field. Back for it, camping underneath, making the grab, making it look easy. Dalton Varsho, there's one down. How about the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by the St. Louis Bar and Grill. Cincinnati and Tampa tied 0-0, bottom of the second. Also bottom of the second, no score, Braves and Mets. And top of the second, no score, San Diego and Baltimore.
You want to give an update on that Greece-Canada score?
Canada leads Greece 68-60 with 1.5 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Nice.
Canada did have a 16-point lead in this quarter, so it's been cut in half by Greece. First pitch in for a strike to Garcia, who's 1 for 1 in the ball game with a single and a walk. And that one down in the dirt. It's 1-1. Gausman gets the sign. The kick and the delivery. Missing on the outside edge. It's 2-1.
He's still got some pretty good juice in that fastball. That last fastball, 96 miles an hour. Some 71 pitches.
Garcia just ripped a foul ball down the third base line. Well into the stands, but he was all over that pitch. The splitter. Count now sits at 2-2.
Yeah, that splitter was middle. Lucky for Kevin Gausman, Adolis Garcia was just out in front of it.
A swing and a miss. Garcia sits down. Another strikeout for Gausman, his 6th. There's 2 away here in the 6th.
That's where Kevin Gausman wanted that last split finger. Starting at the bottom of the strike zone, looks like a hittable fastball, and then just dips below the bat there. Adolis Garcia swings over the top of it. It's a good pitch right there, especially when you're still throwing that fastball at the top of the zone, mid-90s.
Well, speaking of strikeouts, Nathaniel Lowe steps in. He has struck out in both of his at-bats in this ball game. Gausman would love to get him again right here. First pitch, though, is a ball, missed with the fastball. It's a 1-0 count. The left-handed bat of Lowe sees a strike on the next pitch, caught the outside edge on the splitter. It's 1-1. Bring the whole family to Rogers Center tomorrow for another Junior Jays Sunday. Pre-game fun starts with artists, performers, and more outdoors. As Lowe chops one to first, scooped up by Horwitz, steps on the bag to record the out. Visit BlueJays.com/Junior Jays to find out more. Again, Junior Jays Sundays. But we want to deal with Saturday first. It's the Blue Jays leading the Rangers 5-3 onto the bottom of the sixth we go. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Summer sounds like poolside party starters, red-hot hip-hop mixes, and backyard barbecue classics. With exclusive specials and mixes, plus over 200 extra channels, your sun-soaked soundtrack awaits. Just tap into the SiriusXM app and search Summer Sounds.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription? What? Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
While you're listening to this game on SiriusXM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's -125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 159.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you from the Timber Mart broadcast booth as the Blue Jays lead 5-3, bottom six, and into the ball game now for the Rangers. Dane Dunning, the right-hander, will face Stuart Baroa. And we told you that Baroa was going to get his first major league hit today, so he needs to get one here to prevent us from looking stupid.
Pretty sure you're the one that said he was going to get his first hit today.
Nah, you were with me. Don't throw me under the bus now. And there we go. Stuart Baroa into the right field corner. Around first, the speedster is going to have a stand-up double. And the first career hit for Stuart Baroa. And the crowd at Rogers Center gives him his due. You gotta love when it happens on cue just like that.
Well, I'm glad you didn't look stupid.
Thank you, for once.
That was a good swing from Stuart Baroa, a changeup that was just hung by Dunning. He ripped that thing into the corner in right field for a double.
So the leadoff double, a chance for the Blue Jays to do some damage here in this sixth inning. We'll see if George Springer can cash him in. Springer, an 0-for-3 afternoon, would love to register some sort of hit right here. The 1-0 pitch from Dunning inside. It's now 2-0.
In Stuart Baroa's last at-bat, he actually tried to bunt for a base hit. I'm glad he didn't get that thing down because I would much rather have a double as my first big league hit than a bunt base hit.
Fouls off the pitch, Springer does, the 2-0. It's now 2-1.
I don't know about you.
Would I rather have a double than a bunt? Yes. Although the type of player I was in high school, I'd probably have the bunt, not the double. Springer chops at the 2-1 pitch, dribbles it down foul on the third base side. It's now 2-2. I did get some dirt on you last week, though, when I was playing golf with a gentleman that you know quite well.
He doesn't know any dirt on me.
I got some inside info on Chris LaRue. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And that one came inside and high. They checked down at first. Roberto Ortiz says no, he didn't go. So Springer steps back in with the count now sitting at 3-2.
Ooh. Looked like he went on that slow motion replay. It's a tough call for Dunning.
And now Springer tries to contort out of the way of that pitch, but it came so far inside that it hit his bat, and it dribbles down the first base side. So we'll do it again at 3-2. Here's the pitch. Springer got a piece of that one. Let's do it again at 3-2.
You want to know the exit velocity on Stuart Burrowa's first major league hit?
I do.
I want you to guess without staring out at the screen in center field.
Okay, I promise you I'm not looking, folks.
All right, take a guess.
101.2.
That's pretty good.
And a base hit up the middle for George Springer. Burrowa got a late jump, and he's going to have to stop at third. It'll be first and third for the Jays with none down. And I'm not sure, Chris, as much as we've been giving him a lot of love, what Stuart Burrowa was doing, because there was no chance that ball was being caught by anybody.
Yeah, but I think with nobody out in this inning, I think you're extremely cautious. I don't mind that right there, and I also don't mind Carlos Fablis holding him at third base.
I don't mind him holding him because even with his speed, I think he would have been caught. But I think he should have got a much better jump off that hit.
I think you tend to be cautious in that situation with nobody out. You want to be sure. And let's be honest, he's a young guy. He doesn't want to get thrown out. Double play potentially, so he's being overly cautious in that situation.
I'm just trying to even it out. I was so in on Stuart Burrowa. I gotta pull the reins back a little bit.
You're gonna get a Stuart Burrowa jersey the way you're talking.
Yeah, I'm going for a tattoo after the ball game at 37. It'll be a big laugh on me when he changes his number next year. 5-3, Blue Jays leading here in the 6th inning. First and third with none down. By the way, Team Canada's lead has been cut to 4 with 6:26 to go. They've blown a 16-point lead against Greece. We'll keep you updated on that action in men's basketball at the Olympic Games. And we'll have updates for you over the next few weeks throughout our broadcasts on all sports, especially as Canada hopefully gets on the podium time and time again. We'll have an update, I'm sure, later on with Show Ali. We'll try to get Show back in the mix, as Canada has already earned at least one medal. Spencer Horwitz ripping one down the right field line into foul territory. Now even in the count at 1-1. Springer at first, Burrowa at third. The 1-1 pitch, Springer takes off, and swinging at it was Horwitz out into left field. Burrowa will tag. And a play at the plate, not really. The throw was up the line. Burrowa would have been safe anyway. He slides in. And Toronto has jumped out to a 6-3 lead on the sac fly RBI for Spencer Horwitz.
Well, the Rangers were checking to see if Stuart Burrowa left early. I thought the same. Corey Seager actually just grabbed the ball and tagged third base, but third base umpire Lance Barrett said he's safe and he left on time, but it was very close at third base. Stuart Burrowa probably pretty antsy out there. They actually might take a look at this. Umpires were getting together. Looked like they were having a quick chat, but I think everything is okay.
It brings up Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 2 for 3 on the afternoon. With Springer at first. 1 down. First pitch high to Guerrero. Dunning missed with that one. And a 1-0 count. Blue Jays leading 6-3. Back-to-back games now where they've scored 6 runs. Hopefully getting more on the board before this one's done. Dunning throws over to first. Springer dives back into the bag. The fans don't like it. Guerrero steps back into the box, digs in. And here's the pitch from Dunning. That one no good. It's now 2-0.
There's a big hole on the right side of that infield. Marcus Semien is shaded towards second base.
And this time Dunning comes a little bit inside on Guerrero, catches that inside edge with the sinker, gets the strike. It's 2-1. Guerrero with the 2-for-3 afternoon has the average up to 300 and even 300 batting average for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Swing and a miss. Springer taking off, slides into second with the headfirst dive and keeps his hand on the bag as momentum brought him out towards the shortstop side of the bag. He kept the hand planted, so he's safe, and now a runner in scoring position for Vladdy.
And that is his 11th stolen base of the year. He's 11 for 11. He only goes when he knows he can get there, and that's an easy stolen base right there.
And now the 2-2 pitch outside to Vladdy. It's 3-2.
Yeah, but you're right, though. That 300 up there on the board looks a lot better than 299.
The pitch from Dunning fouled off. It caught the edge of the end of the bat for Vladdy. We'll do it again at 3-2. You know, you think about the way the season started for Vladdy and even for George Springer. With due respect to George, the number's not as gaudy as Vladdy's, but they have certainly turned their seasons around respectively. Vladdy in a big-time way, and certainly Springer as well. The 3-2 pitch to Guerrero. And he gets caught looking. He doesn't like the call. He's barking about it right now. And he still continues to chatter as he heads back toward the dugout. I'll tell you, it was real close. It looked like it probably was a strike, but I think as an all-star, you expect to get a little bit more of a leash. If it did catch that zone, it only caught it by about a half or a third of a ball. Nevertheless, call it a strikeout, and a strikeout looking. There's 2 down. And it brings up Justin Turner, who takes the first pitch for a ball and a 1-0 count.
I actually think in situations like that, the hitter or the pitcher or whoever's involved in the situation is not only frustrated by the call. I think a lot of the times hitters are more frustrated by the fact that they were fooled or they didn't try to foul the ball off or they didn't attempt to swing at that pitch. And that's probably what you saw right there with Vlad.
Turner took a ball and then just took another one as well. As Dunning misses with the slider, Turner well ahead now, 3-0. Toronto leading 6-3. They got one in the 5th, and they have another one here in the 6th, trying to get more. Springer's taking off for third, and he'll dive into third base as Turner gets the walk, and Toronto's now got runners on the corners with 2 away.
Well, George Springer got a great jump right there off of Dunning. Here comes Mike Maddox to have a chat with him. Runners on first and third and 2 outs here for Dalton Varsho.
So Toronto up by 3, leading 6-3, 2 down, bottom 6. The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by the St. Louis Bar and Grill. Tampa with a 1-0 lead over Cincinnati, bottom of the 3rd. Bottom of the 3rd, still no score with Atlanta and the Mets. And San Diego jumping out to a 3-0 lead in the top of the 3rd over Baltimore. The Orioles just 4-6 in their last 10 games. And the Padres have 2 on with 1 out in the top of the 3rd, so they'll look to tack on a few more against the Orioles.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
For Toronto?
Yeah.
Hey, man. Keep digging.
You're generally pretty positive.
Oh,
I like the positive
just
vibes.
Ask my wife. I'm super positive. I'll tell you what, I was a big proponent, I still am, of expanding the baseball playoffs. I'd expand it even more. That's why I said I still am. But with those wild cards in play, is it probable? No. But is it possible? Sure. Just keep playing. Keep chugging along. I mean, you still got over 50 games to play. Just keep going. Got to play them either way. You might as well win them. The 1-1 pitch way inside to Varsho. In fact, Kisner had to dive after that one to save it to make sure it didn't make it to the backstop with Springer on third. So Varsho had 2-1. Again, he's got a 3-run jack in this ball game. Fouls off the 2-1 pitch. It's now even 2-2. Pretty good crowd here at Rogers Center. You want to take a guess? Do you have the number? I do.
Oh, you know the number already?
I know the number. Tom Young hooked me up. The 2-2 pitch fouled off by Varsho. We'll do it again.
I don't mean to be slow with this, but I take this very seriously.
Well, there's no prize, so.
I say 37-6.
37,600? Not a bad guess. Not a bad guess. Although if we were playing the Price is Right rules, you'd lose because it's the closest without going over.
That's not the game.
35,917.
I
so
was
you were
close.
pretty close. Pretty close. Less than 2,000 off. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Varsho. A huge lead by Springer at third. And a swing and a miss for Varsho. And that will end the inning. But the Blue Jays do get one to extend their lead to 6-3 as we go to the seventh. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We're 2meninaTruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think 2meninaTruck, 2meninaTruck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2meninaTruck, 2meninaTruck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2meninaTruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Lumos. Witches, wizards, and muggles come down to the core as Rogers Center transforms into Hogwarts. Harry Potter-themed entertainment and activities around the ballpark.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Magic moments create core memories. So fly down to Rogers Center on Friday, August 9th, and get one of 4 Blue Jays Harry Potter Hogwarts House Raglan shirts. Harry Potter Night. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. A 1-2-3 inning for Richards as he strikes out the side.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you. The Blue Jays leading the Rangers 6-3. Second of 3 games against Texas before Toronto opens up 4 on the road against Baltimore with the doubleheader coming up on Monday. And of course, all the action right here on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Kevin Gausman still on the bump for Toronto. Has thrown 76 pitches. Facing Jonah Heim to start off this 7th inning. And down to first with the ground ball. Backhanded stab by Spencer Horwitz, who jogs over, touches the bag. There's one down. It was a 6-pitch 6th inning for Gausman, and now first pitch swinging and 1 quick out here in the 7th. keep this up, we might see him in the 8th. Toronto might need the starters to go even longer because they've lost 2 legit arms from their bullpen in the last 36 hours.
And they also just added Jordan Romano to the 60-day DL, so chances of him coming back this season are probably slim. But they were pretty slim before that, I would imagine, anyways.
That's a late shout-out to the Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers Injury Report. bplawyers.ca. They got a double dip today. We're feeling generous on a Saturday. Tavares 1-1 in the count. And Show Ali corrected me. It was a 6-pitch 5th, but only a 9-pitch 6. So still very low numbers on the pitch count over the last 2 innings for Kevin Gausman. Thanks, Show. 1-2 count right now to Tavares.
And even with that low pitch count, Brendan Little is still getting loose in that Blue Jays bullpen out in left field. So maybe this is the end of the line for Kevin Gausman.
And Tavares just got underneath one, loops one out into right center, charging for it to make the grab is George Springer, and there's 2 away.
And we were talking earlier about how realistic it is that the Blue Jays would get on a roll here and maybe fight their way back in. They're currently 9.5 back in the wild card race, and there are 5 teams between them and the Kansas City Royals for that last playoff spot.
That's the biggest issue,
That's
right?
the biggest issue.
Yep.
Because you have to beat all those teams out for that last spot, and that's where it becomes probably unrealistic.
Andrew Kisner steps into the box. First pitch swinging against Gausman. Sends it out to left field. Underneath it to make the grab, Stuart Baroa, as the Rangers go down 1-2-3 for the 4th straight inning. On to the bottom of the 7th we go with the Blue Jays leading 6-3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays. Get to the ballpark early to enjoy outdoor activities before continuing the fun inside while you cheer on the Blue Jays.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
I am by your side. Got a heart so big, on this you can rely. No mountains too tall for the strong boots to climb. I am by your side.
That was Desjardins Insurance, playing insurance with a heart so big it shows. Tune in for your auto and home coverage at Desjardins.com/heart.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swanson staring at second. Comes home with a 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Alejandro Kirk will start things off in the bottom of the 7th for the Blue Jays. Toronto leading 6-3. And the first pitch from Dunning fouled off by Kirk. Dane Dunning, the right-hander, still on the mound for the Rangers. Kirk 2 for 3 on the afternoon. Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you from the Timber Mart broadcast booth.
Blue Jays have 12 hits in this ball game. The Texas Rangers only have 4.
Haven't seen this type of explosion from the Blue Jays very often this season, and certainly coming at a great time, coming off the victory last night with the 6-5 walk-off win, up 6-3 today. Kirk sends one into right center. It's going to make it to the wall. It bounces off the base of the wall. Kirk turns the corner and gets to second base standing up. A 3-for-4 afternoon for Alejandro Kirk.
Well, he drilled that ball into the gap in right center, splits the outfielders out there. It hits the base of the wall. And Taveras ends up with that ball on his knees. But Alejandro Kirk, another good swing, ends up at second base with a leadoff double here in the 7th.
Davis Schneider steps in. And the first pitch to Schneider is a ball and a 1-0 count. And the 1-0 pitch into Schneider, no good. It's now 2-0.
And I would imagine that Kevin Gausman's day is done. Ryan Burr is warming up out there. He's kind of just standing on the mound in that bullpen, but I'm pretty sure he's coming into this ball game.
In for a strike on the slider, now 2-1 to Schneider. Outside, it's 3-1. Alejandro Kirk out at second following the leadoff double here in the bottom of the 7th. Davis Schneider in with a 3-1 count. 1 for 2 on the afternoon. The pitch inside and a free pass to Schneider. 2 on, none down here in the 7th. It'll bring up Ernie Clement, who has been swinging a hot stick. Not just today, but going back to last night. Clement 2 for 3 this afternoon with 2 on and again none away. The pitch from Dunning. Clement swinging at the first pitch. Skies went out towards center field. It should be an easy grab out there. And it is for Taveras, and not deep enough for Alejandro Kirk to do anything. So Kirk stays at second. And there's now 1 away.
And here comes your buddy, Stuart Baroa.
My guy. SB as we call him. Stuart Baroa with his first career hit in his last at bat. It was a double into the right field corner, and he ended up scoring as well. He was the 6th run of this 6-3 Toronto lead. Now with 2 on and 1 down, Baroa takes the first pitch from Dunning. It's a strike, the sinker in there, and an 0-1 count.
And I don't know if you saw this, but Vlad jumped out of the dugout after Stuart Baroa got his last hit and kind of was waving his hand in the air like he wanted the ball because it's obviously his first hit. He wants to keep the ball as a keepsake. So they threw the ball into him, and he had another ball in his left hand, and he switched the balls and threw that ball that was in his left hand into the stands.
I didn't see that. That's good. I love it. I love it. Baroa swings at the 1-1 pitch, fouls it off into the netting. It's now 1-2.
So I imagine somebody in the stands thought that they were getting Stuart Baroa's first hit ball.
And another one fouled off by Baroa. Let's do it again at 1-2. Baroa sends one on a line out to center field, straight at Taveras, who makes the grab, and there's 2 away.
Another pretty good swing from Baroa. Hit that ball right on the screws, but Taveras really didn't have to move in center field. A good line drive, a good swing. He's a pretty good little player.
Back to the top of the order we go. A 5th at-bat in this ball game for George Springer. He's got 2 on with 2 out. Springer chops one out toward third. Charging at it with a tough scoop to make the grab was Josh Smith, who whips it over to first to record the out. And that will do it for the Jays. On to the 8th inning we go. Toronto leading 6-3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The battle for regional soccer supremacy is on in the Leagues Cup.
It's a super individual goal.
And your home for all the top matches is Sirius XM FC.
It's a masterpiece from Andre Pierre-Gignac.
Hear all your favorite teams from Major League Soccer and Mexico's Liga.
Cheers, Insiders. Thanks for hanging out with us for another Toronto Blue Jays game. All right, like check. Everybody exit out of that chat. See if you've hit that like button. If you have, I appreciate it. If you haven't, come on, get on with it. It's free. The best way to bring more fans here into the chat. Blue Jays fans, it's been a rough season. We need some people to share in our misery. Hit that like button so we can get more Blue Jays fans into this awesome community and keep on growing it. Look, this place is built for the fans, by a fan. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys in the chat.
I'm John Paul Morosi, host of the SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown. Each week, I talk with a Baseball Hall of Famer about the challenges they overcame to become an all-time great.
It is a hard game, and mentally it's hard.
My legs started shaking.
They pretty much knew I was going to have lung surgery after the season. I wasn't for sure. Would I ever play baseball again?
The Road to Cooperstown is the official podcast of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Episodes are available now on the all-new SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you from the Timber Mart broadcast booth in the top of the 8th inning. The Blue Jays leading the Rangers 6-3. Kevin Gausman back out on the bump.
I was incorrect.
Well, it's the first time you've ever been wrong, as long as I've known you. And the first pitch into Marcus Semien is a ball missing with the sinker, a 1-0 count.
That's Kevin Gausman's 83rd pitch of the ball game.
The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by the St. Louis Bar and Grill, and it's not a score, but it's a rumor. Does that count? It's an out-of-town rumor.
No, just
either way, St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good. According to Ken Rosenthal, who's obviously a pretty good source. The 1-1 pitch to Semien, swing and a miss. It's 1-2. The Boston Red Sox are in serious discussions to acquire catcher Danny Jansen from the Blue Jays. Sources telling The Athletic. Again, that is from Ken Rosenthal. It's not done, but serious discussions. I'm never a big fan of the divisional trades, but I guess it depends on what the package is. And he is a free agent, so who knows? He might not be a Red Sox for more than a couple of months. If that deal goes down. The 1-2 pitch to Semien, diving catch at third, getting up, making the play is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. What a job by Vladdy. He sprawled out Superman style, got up and threw a laser to Horwitz at first.
Well, he doesn't play third base very often, but maybe he should. Sprawls out in the hole on the left side of that infield and throws a missile to first base. What a play from Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
And the first pitch to Seager is down in the dirt, 1-0 count.
Although, did you notice that Ernie Clement was standing right behind him? Could have made an easy backhand play.
Man, just give the guy some love. Come on, LaRue.
No, it was a great play. I'm just saying Ernie Clement was right behind him.
That's part of the picture that didn't need to be painted. 1-1 to Seager. He's 1 for 3 on the afternoon. His Rangers trailed the Jays 6-3 here in the 8th. Pitch came inside. Well, maybe not so much inside, a little bit low. But either way, it was a strike, caught the bottom part of the edge. Seager didn't like it. Gausman will take it, as will Blue Jay fans, and it's a 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Seager sits down. There's 2 away.
That's a nasty split finger from Kevin Gausman. Started in the strike zone and then just dipped right out. Corey Seager swings right over that thing. 88-mile-an-hour split finger, looked like a fastball. That's a great pitch from Kevin Gausman.
It brings up Josh Smith. batting .283 on the season, but an 0-for-3 afternoon against the Blue Jays. He's flown out to left, center, and center in his 3 at-bats, and he's down on the count 0-1 as Gausman throws in a splitter for a strike. The 92nd pitch thrown. And some folks are starting to try and get the wave going here at Rogers Center. I think this is the only building in professional sports that they do the wave.
$37,600 people here tonight.
Close. 35,917, the official total on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon. A game that has taken just over 2 hours thus far in the top of the 8th inning. And the 0-2 pitch down in the dirt, it's 1-2.
Did you notice that after Vlad made that diving play, he got up and pointed at the gold Rawlings logo on his glove, letting everybody know that he is in fact a gold glover. I love that.
I love that too. I love that you pick up on those little details too.
Well, because Rawlings is the sponsor of the gold glove, and they give everybody the gold patch for their glove when they win a gold glove, and obviously Vlad has that on his glove.
And a swing and a miss to end the inning. An 8th strikeout for Gausman. Smith got a piece, but Kurt squeezed, and the strikeout is registered. And again, the Rangers go 1-2-3. On to the bottom of the 8th. Toronto leading by 3. 6-3 is the score. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
I am by your side. Got a heart so big, on this you can rely. No mountains too tall for the strong boots to climb. I am by your side.
That was Desjardins Insurance, playing insurance with a heart so big it shows. Tune in for your auto and home coverage at desjardins.com/heart.
Hey, this is Dalton Varsho. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Ready or not, here I come.
Bottom of the 8th inning, and jumping on the first pitch was Spencer Horwitz to rip one down to first. But the out is recorded as Lowe grabs the ball, trots over, steps on the bag, and there's quickly 1 away. Out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by the St. Louis Bar and Grill. Atlanta now leading the Mets 2-0, top of the 5th. Tampa still with a 1-0 lead on Cincy, bottom 4, and San Diego has pushed their lead to 4-0 over the Orioles in the top of the 4th. First pitch for a strike to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And he now sends a base hit into right field. Ripping that one into right. And a 3-for-5 afternoon for Vladdy.
And the Dodgers are in Houston later today. Are you excited for that potential World Series matchup?
Well, you think so, eh? Are you calling the shot right now?
I don't know. The Astros always scare me. They're just very, very good always.
First pitch into Justin Turner is a strike. 2 for 3 today. with a walk and a run. The veteran Turner at bat with Vladdy on first and one down here in the 8th. Next pitch, no good. It's 1-1.
And with that single from Vladimir Guerrero Jr., his average is now .301. Pretty incredible when you think about where he was early April, mid-April.
Vladdy with the lead at first now. Turner gets underneath one, sends it for a ride into left center. It hits the track, it bounces off the wall. Vladdy coming around third, and he's going to be held up. A double for Turner. I thought Vladdy was going to come around, but Toronto, maybe understandably, playing it safe with just one down, as it will bring up Dalton Varsho with 2 runners in scoring position and just 1 away.
Well, that was a hanging slider from Dunning, and Justin Turner ripped it into the gap in left center, hitting the base of that wall out there in left center. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you're right, I thought he was going to score on that play, but Carlos Fablis, third base coach, put the stop sign up. There's still only 1 out, so I don't think that's a bad play from him.
Let's check the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard on the out-of-town rumor mill with our host, Show Ali.
Well, Eric, you mentioned the Ken Rosenthal from The Athletic rumor about Danny Jansen. Jeff Passan, another MLB insider from ESPN, just tweeted seconds ago the Boston Red Sox now finalizing a trade to acquire catcher Danny Jansen from the Toronto Blue Jays. Expectations are that the deal will be finished soon. So a mid-game trade of Danny Jansen, sending him to a mid-division rival in the Boston Red Sox.
Well, certainly interesting news for the Toronto Blue Jays and for Blue Jay fans as a fan favorite. Looks like could be on the move. Nothing official from the Blue Jays yet, but maybe we hear something post-game.
I mean, he is in the dugout. I'm looking at him right now, so there's no way that it's finalized.
Why don't you get up and yell? Take your headset off. Hey, Danny! 1 down, 2 on, 0-1 count to Varsho as the first pitch comes in. The slider is good from Dunning. Varsho digs in now with the 0-1 pitch. That one a little bit high. It's now 1-1.
Well, I guess him and Reese McGuire will be playing together again. It's kind of strange. If that, in fact, is a trade that goes through.
Varsho fouls off the 1-1 pitch straight back into the netting. It's now 1-2.
He certainly doesn't look like a guy that's bothered by any trade rumors, that's for sure.
Vladdy at third. Turner at second. Only 1 down. And the pitch from Dunning, no good on the cutter. That one way high. It's now 2-2 to Varsho. 1 for 4 in the afternoon. And that one was a big one. A 3-run shot back in the first inning. He just popped one up. It's going to make its way into the stands, though. In fact, it hits the top of the Blue Jay dugout and bounces back into the stands about 15 rows deep, maybe 10. Varsho still has life at 2-2. Dunning looks out at second, turns, fires, outside, way high. It's now 3-2. Eric Smith and Chris LaRue from the Timber Mart broadcast booth in the bottom of the 8th inning, with the Blue Jays leading 6-3 and threatening to put on a couple more in right now. Second and third, 1 down. Varsho sends one out to right field. It's going to be caught by Garcia, but tagging and coming in to score is Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and the Blue Jays extend the lead to 7-3.
Well, good job from Dalton Varsho. Gets something in the air, something deep enough that'll score that run from third base. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. comes in easily for the 7th run of the ball game, and Addison Barger easily gets to third base, now with 2 outs.
So Barger, who came in to run for Justin Turner, trots on over to third, as Chris mentioned, so he's in scoring position for Alejandro Kirk, who looks at the first pitch and sees it go outside for a ball on a 1-0 count. And Kirk, I guess, assuming this deal goes down, will be a whole lot busier moving forward. Again, if you're just tuning in, multiple reports out there from very reliable Major League Baseball sources, including Jeff Passan and Ken Rosenthal, that Danny Jansen could be on the move to the Boston Red Sox. Again, could. Still nothing official yet. Kirk with a bit of an excuse me swing. Goes off toward the end of his bat, dribbles out to second. It's picked up by Simeon onto first to record the out, and that will retire the side. But the Blue Jays get one more to push the lead to 7-3 as we head to the 9th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Quiet your mind, reduce your stress, and rest easy with experiences designed to help you fall asleep easier and faster in the SiriusXM app. Drift away to the rolling ocean waves of the brand new Summer Sleep Channel. Sink into the comforting white noise of a storm shower on Rainfall Radio. Or find peace in the serene sounds of forest dreams. Relax with these and many more channels in the SiriusXM app. Just search sleep.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
Nothing matches the passion, the excitement, the history-making moments of college sports. And nobody takes you inside the greatest campuses and stadiums across the country like SiriusXM College Sports Radio. Listen to all of the play-by-play action, expert analysis, and in-depth interviews with your favorite team. No matter the season, we have something for you. Your home for all things college sports is on SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Scotty Scheffler is the Masters champion.
The biggest events in golf are on PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Getting set to start the 9th inning. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Kevin Gausman out to start this 9th inning, looking for a complete game as he throws the first pitch in to Langford. It's a ball and a 1-0 count.
And that pitch was his 97th pitch of the ball game. Chad Green is now warming up in that bullpen.
Second pitch inside as well. It's 2-0.
I would imagine that if somebody gets on base, Chad Green will come into this ball game, but I'm sure it all depends on how Kevin Gausman feels as well.
Battles back with the first strike right there on the 2-0 pitch. A fastball good for a strike. It's now 2-1. And now this one fouled off. It goes sky high, way deep into the 100 level, at the back of the 100 level, down the left field side, down the third base side. It's now 2-2. Here's the pitch from Gausman. Langford sends it to short. Backhanded stab over to first. Nice play there by Ernie Clement. Excuse me, Leo Jimenez, I apologize, came into the ball game didn't realize until just now that was Leo Jimenez, who just came in, and he makes the nice play in the throw to first. So there's one down here in the ninth.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes. Vlad is over at first now. Ernie Clement at third. Leo Jimenez is in the ball game at shortstop.
Big cut from Garcia on the first pitch. And deep in this ball game, Gausman still dealing. The fastball clocked at 95.
Yeah, pitch number 102 right there, 95 miles an hour. I was wondering if he still feels good. Obviously, he does.
The 0-1 pitch in for a strike. That was a generous call, but you'll take it and run if you're a Blue Jay fan.
Yeah, that was a generous call, but you could see that Alejandro Kirk did a good job framing that baseball, making it look like a better pitch than it actually was.
0-2 pitch. Fouled off by Garcia. Crowd was starting to buzz a little bit. They continue to cheer on the 0-2 pitch. That one no good for a ball. Missed on the splitter. It's 1-2.
Pitch 105. He's starting to creep into that territory of, do you take him out? Do you leave him in?
And another one fouled off by Garcia as he continues to battle.
You can see John Schneider and Pete Walker having a discussion in that dugout, probably about the number of pitches that he can throw.
And Garcia just rips one into right field. Diving Superman style. George Springer with the grab. And there's two down here in the ninth.
Well, that catch right there probably saved Kevin Gausman's complete game, as he takes his hat off and acknowledges that effort out there in right field. What a play yet again from George Springer.
He absolutely laid out for that one, parallel with the ground. The glasses came flying off his hat. And there's two down here in the ninth, with the Blue Jays leading 7-3. First pitch into low, no good, and a 1-0 count.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had both arms up in the air. Kevin Gausman had his hat off.
Back with a splitter at 85. It's a 1-1 count.
Tons of appreciation for that effort right there.
Missing with the 1-1. That pitch, the 110th of the game. Most of the crowd here, at least in the 100 and 200 levels, is standing. A whole bunch in the 500 level as well. Over 35,000 today, looking for a second straight Blue Jay win. The 2-1 pitch outside. It's 3-1. That crowd doesn't like it. Still action out in the Blue Jay bullpen. And a strike comes in. Caught the outside edge on a fastball. A 3-2 count.
Throw another fastball here. Don't mess around.
Gausman has thrown 112 pitches. This will be 113. And they want to make sure they get it right. Kirk calls for time. Jogs on out to the mound and has a few quick words for Kevin Gausman. The starter steps back onto the mound. Gausman steps onto the rubber. The 3-2 pitch. And it's inside for a ball and a free pass for Nathaniel Lowe.
Well, that's a tough pitch. I'm looking at John Schneider, seeing what he's doing. He's stroking his beard right now, probably not really sure if he's going to take him out or not. 113 pitches for Kevin Gausman. Doesn't look like he's going to. He's going to leave him in for Jonah Heim.
First pitch swinging, Heim fouls it off. It allows Gausman to get up 0-1 on the count.
114 pitches. You rarely see this in today's baseball.
I see Show Ali scrambling. He's Googling something. Second pitch swinging, fouled off down the first base side, and now Gausman ahead 0-2. Will this be the payoff right here? This will be pitch 116 as Gausman steps onto the rubber with 2 down in the ninth. The Blue Jays leading 7-3. The 0-2 pitch outside. It's 1-2.
Alejandro Kirk wanted that fastball up, didn't quite get it up there. I'd go back up there again. Up at the letters, see if Jonah Heim just swings through one.
Here's the 1-2. Fouled off. We'll do it again. The crowd cheering on Kevin Gausman, who again steps back onto the rubber. The 1-2 pitch. This one sky high, out into shallow center. Chugging in for it, making the grab is Dalton Varsho, and it's a complete game victory for Kevin Gausman. His record improves to 9-8, and the Blue Jays have won back-to-back games over the Rangers. A third career complete game for Kevin Gausman.
Well, you can't say enough about Kevin Gausman. 118 pitches on the afternoon. 81 of those for strikes. 9 innings, just 4 hits. Tell you what, he's a horse. I'm sure he told John Schneider he wanted to complete this game, and John Schneider obliged. He let him out there. The leash was long. 118 pitches. That is a ton of pitches.
Gave up only 4 hits on the afternoon. And was the anchor of this victory for the Blue Jays. Again, a 7-3 win over the Texas Rangers. And in the process, the Blue Jays have already won the series, but they would love to make it the sweep as they get set for the third and final game tomorrow afternoon, which will come just after 1:30 Eastern Time. A number of highlight plays in this ball game for the Blue Jays, including the George Springer diving grab out in right field. And Stuart Baroa, I believe, is joining us down on the field right now. Stuart, Eric Smith, and Chris LaRue with you. We appreciate you joining us. And first of all, congratulations on your first career hit. You ripped that thing into the corner, and no doubt about that double as you rounded first and got on down to second base.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. You know, it's been a dream come true, and really happy for it. And can't ask for more than what I'm living right now.
Were you trying to bunt for a base hit earlier on in the ball game, or were you just showing bunt?
No, of course. I was trying to get that base hit, however it takes, and I just miss it. But yeah, you know, this is part of my games, and I was trying to get there and do my game.
Stuart, one of the things that has stood out to me, to us, and I think to a lot of people about you since coming up, in a very short time, you are energy. You are good vibes. In the dugout, in the locker room, on the field. I watched you pregame today, spend a whole lot of time signing autographs and taking pictures and whatnot. How much does that energy for you translate and transfer into the game itself?
You know, we're here for the fans, so I'm here, like, I just find myself more like a good teammate, a gamer, and I just try to bring whatever it takes to my teammates. Sometimes, get high a little bit and do my stuff. So we're here for the fans, try to give them good memories in the ballpark. It's part of me. When I'm done doing those stuff, I feel like it's not me. I feel like really down, sleepy during the game, and I don't like to feel that. I like to be high. I like to be aware of whatever is happening around me. This is how I've been my entire career. So I don't know. I just think that I'm born with that, and this is one of the things that made me get here right now.
Well, Stuart, we appreciate your time. We appreciate your energy, and best of luck in trying to pull the sweep tomorrow against the Rangers. All the best.
Yes,
congratulations, man. Happy for you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
There is Stuart Burroa of the Jays, and again, his first career base hit this afternoon, a double that was a part of a 7-3 victory for Toronto, a complete game win for starter Kevin Gausman.
And Kevin Gausman was incredible today. But it wouldn't have happened without George Springer. George Springer made that incredible diving play in the 9th inning. And like we mentioned, you saw Vladimir Guerrero with both arms up. You saw Kevin Gausman take that hat off in appreciation for the effort. A lot of things happened today, but that catch stood out to me.
So again, 7-3, the Blue Jays get the victory. We'll come back with a little bit more and then get set for post-game coverage. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Lumos. Witches, wizards, and muggles come down to the core as Roger Center transforms into Hogwarts. Harry Potter-themed entertainment and activities around the ballpark.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Magic moments create core memories. So fly down to Roger Center on Friday, August 9th, and get one of 4 Blue Jays Harry Potter Hogwarts House Raglan shirts. Harry Potter Night. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza, and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Next pitch, Moniak takes off. It's low a ball, throw down to second. They got him!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back, Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you. The Blue Jays beating the Rangers today 7-3. And thanks again to Stuart Burroa for joining us on our post-game show. The first career Major League hit for Stuart Burroa. And as I mentioned, a number of highlight plays in the field and at the plate. I mean, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with a solid afternoon with 3 hits and 3 runs scored. The batting average now over 300. The 3-run shot for Dalton Varsho. The diving stab at third base for Vladdy. The diving catch out in right field for George Springer. And the performance as well from Kevin Gausman.
Yeah, a lot of things happened. I mean, Alejandro Kirk was 3 for 5. His average is now up to 229. He's swinging the bat very well. Ernie Clement, again, 2 for 4, 263. A lot of good things. Obviously, with how thin this bullpen is now, you can't say enough good things about Kevin Gausman going deep into this ball game, throwing 118 pitches. That's almost unheard of today.
Well, that's why it is our play of the game. Do we have it ready to rock? The crowd cheering on Kevin Gausman, who again steps back onto the rubber. The 1-2 pitch. This one sky high, out into shallow center, chugging in for it. Making the grab is Dalton Varsho, and it's a complete game victory for Kevin Gausman. His record improves to 9-8, and the Blue Jays have won back-to-back games over the Rangers. A third career complete game for Kevin Gausman.
Well, what a great call from the great Eric Smith, and what a great performance from the great Kevin Gausman. I was watching John Schneider as the pitch count just crept up, and you could see him really thinking, but I can almost guarantee that him and Kevin Gausman had a conversation before that top of the ninth inning, and Kevin Gausman told him, I want this complete game. Let me go. Let me complete this game. And fortunately for him, he got the play from George Springer out in right field, and John Schneider let him, in fact, complete this game.
So Gausman comes into the day 8-8, improves to 9-8. Well, tomorrow's starter, Jose Barrios, 8-8. We'll hope to go to 9-8 if the Jays want to sweep the Texas Rangers. That first pitch just after 1:30 tomorrow. And Chris, what will you be looking for from a Jays team that has now won back-to-back ball games and, again, trying to keep the good times rolling?
Well, number one, I just want Jose Barrios to look confident out there with his fastball, with that slurve. We really haven't seen him perform well in almost weeks at this point. So I want him to throw that fastball down in the zone, throw it for strikes, and then you can expand. I think that he's really struggling throwing strike one, throwing strike two, and that's something that he really has to improve on tomorrow.
So, again, the Blue Jays beat the Rangers 7-3. We are back at it tomorrow with pregame coverage at 1 o'clock. And, again, first pitch just after 1:30 Eastern Time on the Sportsnet Radio Network. A big shout-out to producer Nick Blackmore for doing great work today. Also, technical directors Andrew Adams, and down here at Rogers Center, Tom Young. Post-game coverage is coming up in mere moments as Show Ali will take things over. You've been listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
All right, Nick Ashbourne, plain and simple. That was electric. That was so much fun. Look, it won't change the calculus of the season. We know this, but that was a damn fun game to watch. Timely hitting up and down the order. A few firsts for guys like Baroa. Gausman gets run support. The complete game as well in his highest pitch count game of the season. And the Blue Jays not only win this game 7-3, but they win the series against the defending World Series champs over the Rangers here at the Rogers Center.
Yeah, there's just a lot in it, whether it's Gausman's performance, Dalton Varsho hitting an opposite field home run. We almost never see that happen. Some first for Stuart Baroa. George Springer stealing a couple bases in the same inning. Amazing defense at the end. When you're dealing with a team that is not competitive in the standings, and that's where the Blue Jays are, sometimes it's just good to appreciate a ball game in and of itself. And this was a great ball game.
Yeah, Justin Turner had a good game. Alondra Kirk had a good game, which, based on some mid-game reports, probably becomes a little bit more important. But it was a fun game, and I think in a season like this, I think you got to appreciate the fun games when they come around, because it's been a long season. But I got to say, first and foremost, that was a lot of fun to watch, and I'm happy for the 35,000+ people here at the Rogers Center who got to witness it. Everyone who watched and listened along at home, it was a fun one. I'm Show Ali. That's Nick Ashbourne. You're listening to Jays Talk live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. Give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text us as well, 590-590, name and location. The People's Text line always open. Standard message and data rates may apply. Before we talk about the game, because we're going to talk about Kevin Gausman. Kind of hard not to start with Kevin Gausman on the day he throws his third career complete game. But before we do that, we should probably get to the mid-game trade that popped up if you have not heard it, because it came down, bottom of the 7th inning, top of the 8th inning. Pearson confirmed it. It was Ken Rosenthal that broke the news. Pearson confirmed it in the 8th inning there. But Danny Jansen traded allegedly mid-game to the Boston Red Sox. So no confirmation from the Blue Jays yet, certainly, because the game was still happening when it was going on. But I tend to, and again, you err on the side of you got to wait until it's been confirmed, obviously. But when two of the game's biggest newsbreakers in Ken Rosenthal and Jeff Passan are saying it, it's probably true.
Yeah, we can be fairly confident that Danny Jansen heading to the Red Sox. And there was a funny moment there where that news was sort of in circulation, but because Alejandro Kirk was the last out of the inning, Danny Jansen had to come out and help Kevin Gausman warm up.
Saw that.
So he was part of the team even at a moment when arguably he was sort of done being part of the team. He had a fairly long run as not always the Blue Jays' primary catcher, but at the very least sort of a 1A, 1B situation. Like a career he can be really proud of in Toronto. And I think a lot of Blue Jays fans are not going to be delighted to see him in a jersey of a team they don't especially like. I do think it's a good fit because he's a guy who loves to pull the ball and get the ball in the air, and his swing is going to go very well with Fenway Park. He hasn't historically always done well there. He's had a couple of big moments, but I think the Red Sox are going to be happy with this addition.
There's a text from Russ from Kingston, 590-590, name and location. You can certainly text us. I said the numbers are earlier, but 416-870-0590, 1-888-660-590, star 590 on your cell. Those are the numbers to call. But Russ on the text line says, you just know Danny is going to crush in Fenway. Sad crying face emoji. I knew that Danny might get traded, but him going to the Red Sox puts a downer on such a great game today. I won't lie. When I saw the Passan notification come up after the Rosenthal notification came up on my phone, I thought to myself, oh, okay, this is interesting. Like it's that time of year. Like it's not unheard of that the Marlins traded Jazz Chisholm Jr. to the Yankees mid-game too, which is a monster trade. That's a huge trade. I think I saw the Yankees giving up their third overall prospect, including a bunch of other guys going back to the Marlins. But my point being, like, a couple of big-time trades came down during the game today, and when I saw that Danny Jansen's name was involved, I thought, oh, I wonder who he's going to. And I did kind of, like, wrinkle my nose a little bit when I saw the Red Sox. It's kind of baked in there. I just, in-division trades, I've always felt are strange. Like, when Verdugo was traded in the offseason, I think, from the Red Sox to the Yankees, I thought that was strange because, I mean, not only is that in the division, but how often you see the Red Sox and the Yankees trading with each other. I don't know. It's kind of bizarre, but I agree with you that I think he will fit in there well. And while he hasn't had the greatest year offensively, certainly as we've discussed ad nauseum over the course of this season, I do think, Nick, that when it comes to Danny Jansen's game-calling ability for that Boston Red Sox pitching staff, I think that's going to fit in very well with them.
This is a guy who's been a Gold Glove finalist before. His throwing isn't always fantastic, but he blocks the ball exceptionally well. As you mentioned, in terms of game calling and handling a staff, he's been through a lot over the course of his time in Toronto. He's tried and true. He's proven in that area. And, those in-division trades, they are odd. I think they're becoming more common because teams are being a little bit more logical. It's becoming a more logical, analytical game. And so, the reality is the Blue Jays are not in the same place as the Red Sox. And this is a rental player, too. So it's not like you trade a player away and then you have to deal with them for years and years and years.
Right.
It's like this is a season where the Blue Jays have fallen out of contention. They're going to give Jansen up and, they're going to see him a couple times. But realistically, he's not going to hurt them. If anything, whatever the return is, theoretically could come back to hurt the Red Sox, although based on the season Jansen is having, it would be surprising if the Red Sox have given up anything massive to bring the catcher in.
Yeah, I guess the Red Sox were not happy with one former Blue Jay catcher in Reese McGuire, so they go out and get another in Danny Jansen. I'll say this, as far as prospects go, because again, neither of us are prospect experts, but Chaim Bloom, not the GM anymore, but before he was dismissed, I thought he did a pretty decent maybe even a very good job in restocking the system for Boston with a lot of very young guys. So, look, it's not going to be like a major league player coming back. We're not talking about like Wilyer Abreu more than likely, or Rafael, or any of these very young guys coming back. It's pretty unlikely. But I will say Bloom did restock that Red Sox farm team. So whatever it ends up being for a rental guy, who I think regardless would test the market, given that the market for catchers in the free agency period next year is not particularly strong. So if that's the case, I think Jano would test the market anyways. But the Red Sox probably do have a decent number of prospects, good prospects to trade if need be. So I am very curious to see what the return is, and we'll continue monitoring for that.
Yeah, this is a starting caliber catcher. He's not having his best offensive season. He has been in really rough shape at the plate over the last couple of months. He actually was fantastic out of the gate. So that brings down the price a little bit, but we're still talking about a player who has been close to league average with the bat and providing a lot defensively. So he's not sort of a pure spare part to be spun off for a nothing prospect. Again, I wouldn't expect that it's someone who's extremely high on a prospect list, but again, this is a guy, Danny Jansen, who you can roll out on a regular basis, whether it's a 1A, 1B situation or as a starter, and gives you something pretty significant. And so that player is worth something on the open market.
We'll see what John Schneider says. He's talking to the media right now downstairs here at the Rogers Center. But, hey, you want to reach out to us again, 416-870-0590, 1-888-660-590, star 590 on your cell. Those are the numbers to call. 590-590, name and location. That's the way you can reach us on the text line as well. Hey, if you want to reach us, certainly we can talk about Kevin Gausman, which we're about to do. You want to talk about many of the other standout moments in this game, from Kirk, from Turner, from Springer, from Baroa. You want to talk about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at third base, whatever you want to do, we can talk about it. But, hey, you want to also send us your favorite Danny Jansen moments as well? We can certainly talk about those. But, again, those are the numbers to call, 590-590, name and location. That's the People's text line. On the text line, Scott in Peterborough says, kind of ironic. Reese McGuire kind of lost his job because of Danny Jansen in Toronto, and now he's potentially going to lose his job because of Danny Jansen in Boston. It's true, because there's no way the Red Sox are doing away with Connor Wong, right? I mean, he's kind of like their guy. So if that's the case, and that was kind of came on the heels after they dumped Christian Vasquez at the deadline, I guess it was last year, or maybe it was the year before. But anyways, it was pretty recently. Vasquez no longer was the Red Sox catcher, and now it's Connor Wong, and it's been Wong McGuire. And, I mean, gosh, it was just a couple days ago we saw Canada's own Cal Quantrill screaming at Reese McGuire for the incident from a couple of years ago. So I thought I think it's kind of funny that he's in the news recently, and now here we are again. Kevin in Toronto texts to say, my favorite Jansen moment was a couple of years ago when he homered for that sick hit he promised he hit a home run for. Ironically, it happened at Fenway, too. I do remember that, actually. Danny Jansen's had a lot of fun moments in a Blue Jays uniform. So, hey, keep him coming. 590-590, name and location, or you can call us as well. Let's talk about Kevin Gausman. Nick, just phenomenal stuff from him. 9 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, all of which were earned. 3 walks, this is true, 8 strikeouts. Through 118 pitches, 81 of them were strikes. His 3rd career complete game. So on the season, it's the most by pitch count. His previous high was on May 4th, Star Wars Day, in Washington, where he threw 112 pitches in 5 1/3 in a game the Blue Jays did win 6-3. So he didn't go over by a lot. He threw about, 6 more pitches today, but that's just not something you see very often in today's game. And certainly the lead helped. Had it been like a 4-3 lead, there'd probably be a 0% chance he was coming back out for the 9th. But the Jays staked him to enough of a lead that he was able to come back out there. And even after giving up a hit and having a runner on base, they still let him stay out there, which I thought showed their confidence in the man many people have called an ace in the last couple of seasons.
It was an unusual decision. You don't see that, as you mentioned, too often, pushing that pitch count kind of well past 110. Like, in today's game, that's fairly rare with a veteran pitcher like Gausman, someone who's had, generally speaking, good durability. That makes a difference. But John Schneider made a decision today to play for something that wasn't really in the win-loss column. He decided that it was important for Gausman to finish the game. Now, George Springer made that a lot easier with his fantastic catch in right field. That made a huge difference. It's funny, I remember early in this game thinking, man, Gausman can't catch a break. Like, he had Springer, that dive that turned into a triple, and then Davis Schneider failing to keep a ball in the infield. And it's not like those were super easy plays that needed to be made necessarily, but with a little bit more support from his defense, he could have done a lot better in the early innings. I'm like, it's going to be a 5-6 inning, 3-run outing for Gausman, and he looks so much better than that. Like the velocity across the board on his 3 main pitches, the fastball, sinker, and the splitter, they were all more than 1 mile per hour faster than his season averages. The command was good, too. The splitter got 9 whiffs. That's been a pretty high number for what we've seen with him recently. Like, he looked like kind of classic Gausman pretty much from the beginning, but the results didn't really reflect that early in the game because he had some tough luck, and then things just seemed to start going his way. And then, in the middle of the game, 6-pitch 5th inning, 9-pitch 6th inning, 6-pitch 7th inning. Like that efficiency and the guys making plays behind him allowed him to get this done, even though it was a bit extreme is maybe the wrong word, but a bit intense from a pitch count perspective.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like those innings 5 through 7, when he threw a combined 21 pitches, as you outlined, Nick, were phenomenal. Like he tore through the Rangers order in 3 straight innings. Even in the 8th inning, he only threw 14 pitches in the 8th inning as well. So it's not like he was particularly taxed. I guess in the first couple of innings, especially inning 1 and 3, it looked like. And again, it's not like he lost command or lost control or was suddenly throwing softer pitches. I think there was just some bad luck in there. Like there was a play I remember in the 3rd inning that I think did score a run where Adolis Garcia, who is one of the more dangerous batters in all of baseball, muscles a ball just past the second base bag onto the grass. And I thought to myself, first of all, that they even stopped the ball from going even further, I thought was impressive. They did play very good defense today, but I mean, if that ball was hit in any other direction, they probably get it for an out and a run doesn't score, right? So generally speaking, you look at what Gausman did today. He pitched excellently. You brought up the splitter. It was something you and I talked about in the pregame because the splitter had been kind of, I don't want to call it wild necessarily, but the splitter had been a pitch that seemed like he was unable to corral it as he is used to. Let's put it that way, because he has such fine command over that pitch, and for a large chunk of the season, especially before the All-Star break, it kind of felt like he was almost like fighting his own mechanics at times in terms of where he was delivering the splitter versus like where he was delivering the fastball. Velo, after those first couple starts of the year, have not really seemed to be a huge issue for him. But hey, I mean, he got some guys to absolutely flail at the splitter today. The Jonah Aheim AB in the second particularly comes to mind. The fastball was the pitch he gave up some runs on, but like you said, he did settle down after that 3rd, and it was he kind of cruised for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and normally with him, when he's doing exceptionally well, a lot of that is about the pure whiffs and the strikeouts, and that was there to an extent. But he held the Rangers to 4 hits. And, this is not the Rangers team in its full strength and glory, but there's still some quality hitters in this lineup. And even sort of the more advanced stats would tell you that was fairly justified. Like the Rangers' expected batting average for today was 161. Oof. So, like, there were some good defensive plays, undoubtedly, especially in that 9th inning at the end there. But it's not like they were getting robbed all over the place. Like Gausman was inducing really unimpressive contact, which isn't always his game, but he deserves a lot of credit for pulling that off in this one.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to the phones. Let's go out west to Kelowna, BC. Josh joining us from the West Coast. Josh, what's up?
Hey, guys. Couple things. The first comment on Gausman, and this team, even though I know this team is out of it, watching Gausman grind out that complete game, 118 pitches, I mean, to me, that's fun, right? I know the team's not going to the playoffs, but I'll still tune in to watch the Jays if they're doing stuff like that, if Gausman's grinding out a win and to cheer him on to do that. And, Vladdy playing third, I know he's not their best third baseman, but it's fun to watch him over there. The comment on the Jansen trade, I don't know what it is with them and really sticking with Kirk. I guess I have a bit of a worry for next year where they're going to get another catcher because, Kirk is not the option. We gave away Jansen, we gave away Moreno, and we're still stuck with Kirk. So I'm not really sure with that. And then my last comment is, with the trades of Garcia and Pearson and everything like that, I know that, there's a whole off season and everything, but, there are a lot of holes on this team for 2025. The guys coming up from Buffalo, they are playing well now. And as we saw Davis Schneider come up last year, we thought he was the next best thing. This is a bit of a down year. Now Spencer Horwitz is the next best thing. Is he going to keep that up next year? They really need to get some legit bats, and they need to get a legit bullpen. And I just don't know if it just seems for me there's too many holes next year to have them be competitive. So I'm not sure what you think about that.
Sure, Josh. I appreciate the call, man. Thanks for joining us on Jays Talk. So, okay, a couple things to get through there, Nick. First of all, on Gausman, yeah, definitely tons of fun. It makes in a season that, again, I said this off the top, but a season that has been a tough one, I think for everyone, especially the fans. I think you kind of have to take the wins. You know what I mean? Like where you get them. And again, like I said earlier, it's not going to change the calculus of the season as a whole, but you can still enjoy it. I think that's a big part of it. Like sports are supposed to be fun. Watching baseball is supposed to be fun, right? Like, and in a season that has been, I don't want to say like devoid of fun, but in a season that has been a little bit of a grind, to put it lightly, you gotta enjoy it when you can. Which is why I think I'm certainly gonna do that when games like this come around. Okay, on Danny Jansen. I think the Jays have no choice but to go get another catcher for the interim at the very least. You got to imagine if Danny Jansen is gone, I have to think at least for now, Brian Servin's going to be the guy to get called up, right? Like that's like the most. Unless I'm missing someone, that's the most obvious catcher. Just until the end of the season. I know maybe there was a chance it could have been Peyton Henry, that scary accident when he got hit with the bat on a follow through. So I'm not sure if how healthy he is these days. Haven't checked, but Brian Servin would seem to me to be the main guy. But apart from that, Nick, I mean, I'm not saying what you saw from Kirk today means that you can be okay with Kirk going forward. Like I think no matter what, you need to sign another catcher because how much from what you saw of Kirk today, and he had a good game today, right? He played well, but how much is that is super sustainable? I'm not sure. But I mean, you are, for better or for worse, you're going into 2025 with Kirk on this roster. Like he's not going to be on the team next year.
Not only is he on the roster, I think it's probable, and trust me, from the comments and tweets I see out there, this is not what people want to hear. But I think it's probable that he is the starter as well. Like, it is difficult to go out there and get quality catching outside of that. I think chances are they're getting someone who is more of a backup type. And I understand that Kirk is in the middle of a very unimpressive year offensively. And so people are tired of seeing this guy. But, rewind 2 years, he's an all-star caliber player. Even last season, he hit approximately league average, slightly less than that, and was one of the best blocking catchers in the league, one of the best framing catchers in the league. When the automatic strike zone comes into baseball, Kirk's value could change a little bit. But this guy brings a ton of value on the defensive side. He's actually improved significantly at throwing guys out this season. Still not one of the best in the league at that by any stretch of the imagination, but he is someone who doesn't have to hit super well to still be a pretty valuable catcher. Now, I know that he's never had a massive workload, and they have some concerns about that with him, but he's played a lot of games over the last few years. He's held up relatively well over the last couple of years, and I don't think it's crazy to assume he could bounce back and be an approximately league average hitter with a lot of defensive value again. That is not the sexiest player in the world. That is not the player that fans are dying to see on a game-in, game-out basis. But that's a valuable guy and someone you can be fairly comfortable with.
Couple quick updates for you. About 3 hours ago, the Buffalo Bisons, I just have to go check. They're playing at Salem Field, and Servin was batting sixth. He was catching, and literally 2 minutes ago, the Bisons just tweeted, Max McDowell is now catching for Brian Servin. So Brian Servin has been removed from this lineup. So there you go. So I'm going to guess that answers that question. And Jeff Passan just tweeted while you were talking.
I thought I was going to get the opportunity to be the one to break the news show.
Would you like to read it? Go ahead, read it.
Okay, here we go. Jeff Passan says that Danny Jansen to Boston is done. The full extent of the deal is unclear. One player going to Toronto is Cutter Coffey, a second-round pick from 2022, who is impressing in High A this.
So there you go. So high A player, infielder, Cutter Coffee, a second-round pick in 2022, is at least a part of the deal. Because, again, Pearson, like you just tweeted, or like you just read, he just tweeted, full extent of the deal is unclear. So there you go. So there could be more coming, I suppose. I suppose it also means that there could be actually more coming from the Blue Jays. Like, in theory, it's not necessarily means that there's all going to Boston is Danny Jansen, but that is certainly a big part of it. So Cutter Coffee, a second-round pick who has impressed in high A this season. Positions according to Baseball Reference: third baseman, shortstop, second baseman, bats right. So again, I'm not going to pretend to be a major expert on Cutter Coffee. He's not, at least according to MLB Pipeline. And you kind of have to take the prospect rankings also with a bit of a grain of salt, right, Nick? Because, you can say what you want about MLB Pipeline, which for the record, I think is a great resource, or Fangraphs, or Baseball America, or ESPN. Any of these things, I do like to use them as at least guidelines, but, I mean, at least for now, Cutter Coffee is not on the top 30 for the Boston Red Sox on MLB Pipeline. Having said that, for a guy who is expiring and is not, I feel like, that likely to sign an extension without at least testing free agency, it probably makes sense we're going to get a lot from the Red Sox for him.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that, he was 22nd on the Fangraphs list, and that was updated in July. He's 20 years old, and he's performing well above average at high A. It's a second time at the level, so take that for what it's worth. I don't know. He seems like a prospect. He's not a throw-in he's not a bag of baseballs. This is a real prospect. How far you can project that, who's to say? Like you said, it would be disingenuous for us to pretend like we've been grinding single-A tape for the last few months, and we have a really well-formed opinion about Cutter Coffee. We'll see what happens with that. But, kind of as I mentioned before, Danny Jansen is a real sort of starting caliber MLB catcher. You're going to get something for him that is meaningful, and I think that Cutter Coffee is probably a meaningful player, whether he's someone you can pencil into the 2026, 2027 Blue Jays lineup. That would be awfully premature. We'll see what happens.
He's 20 years old. It looks like, according to some prospect websites, the analysis, above average raw power, perhaps below average present power, plays best to the pull side. In summation, wide range of outcomes depending on how his hit tool develops, has everyday potential as everything breaks right. High risk, high reward prospect. So it'll be. It says some questions about how he will adjust to professional pitching. So I don't know. Like those are probably the kinds of prospects you are looking at getting, right? I mean, again, I think the biggest trade piece, and Jimmy Garcia was already traded. So the biggest trade piece remains Yusei Kikuchi, who is still at least the second, unless something's come out in the last 90 seconds or so that he has not yet been traded. And you know who else has been playing pretty well? A former Boston Red Sox player himself, now Toronto Blue Jays DH first baseman, and Justin Turner. Justin Turner, 3 for 4 day with a walk in there as well. One of those hits was a double. That's pretty good for a guy who was badly struggling not that long ago, Nick. And I got to imagine that has certainly helped his trade value, but I got to think that Justin Turner is going to be another guy who is not long for the Blue Jays if things continue. Also, Danny Jansen, by the way, I don't mean to interrupt you, sorry. Danny Jansen just came back out onto the field. Some players and their wives and their kids are all out here. He came back out, and he got an applause from the grounds crew. He just walked back in the dugout, but he came back out. Looks like he said goodbye to he might have been talking to his own kids, and it looked like he kind of gave them a hug and a kiss, and then he walked back in, and the grounds crew gave him a bit of a clap. So that might be the last we've seen of Danny Jansen down here at the Rogers Center. Yeah, fans love the hug watch when the guys get pulled out of the game, and then you have the dugout. And so this is a really, really low-key post-game version of hug watch where we're reporting on it to you in an audio medium. Perhaps not ideal. No, the Justin Turner thing, yeah, see, he's a bat-only player at this point in his career. We're talking about a 39-year-old guy. He's a DH. He can give you a very small amount of first base. You can put him at third base at your own risk. But if he's not performing offensively, he just doesn't have value. So there, a couple weeks ago, you looked at his year-long numbers, and they were, kind of below league average, and he'd been especially bad recently. And you had to wonder, what is the market going to be for this guy other than he hits lefties a little bit, and he's this, veteran who's been through it all. And then now, his last 6 games, we got 12 hits, 3 of them extra bases, plus 2 walks. And in his previous 11 games before that, he'd hit .098 with no extra base hits. So this massive turnaround, I think, does have a meaningful effect
on his trade value because teams are seeing, okay, this guy's hitting the ball right now, and not only is he hot at the moment, like that massive amount of production has bumped up his season-long number significantly. So if you go look at what has Justin Turner done this season, now you are looking at a player who's meaningfully above average offensively, and that makes him a useful player by definition.
Quick update on the live reporting of all of these Danny Jansen discussions, Nick. But Mark Feinsand, who, of course, is an MLB.com executive reporter, MLB Network insider, he just tweeted this out 2 minutes ago. As Jeff Passan reported, high-A infielder Cutter Coffey is in the Danny Jansen to Boston deal, but a source says there's more in the trade going to Toronto. Players are currently being informed. So I guess we're going to be on here until we find out who's coming back. I hope you don't have any place to be anytime soon, but I am very curious as to who's going back here. So while we wait, why don't we go to the phones? 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go over to Fort Erie. Eddie joining us from Fort Erie. Eddie, what's up? A big news day for us all here.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? First of all, before I get to my comment, I got to say, when you guys said Cutter, I almost fell out of my seat thinking it was going to be Cutter Crawford coming back.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, I know,
That's
because,
fair,
he had the first. Yeah, because I was like, whoa, but it's okay. I got my hopes up, but that was okay. Anyway, good win today by the Blue Jays. Gausman happy about what he did. Second complete game of the year. Not bad, but that's not what I want to address, gentlemen. What I want to address is the Nate Pearson deal, because when I first saw that he was traded, I went on to Baseball Reference and looked up how much, control he has left, and I was, stunned. And when I saw the return package we got, I thought to myself, why didn't the Jays get a major leaguer back in return? You know what I mean? Because when I saw the trade that the Marlins made with the Diamondbacks when they traded H.A. Puck to Arizona and they got two prospects back, I was like, oh, that's not good. And I thought, maybe somebody could counter that. But I was hoping that they would have gotten a major leaguer back from the Cubs along with the prospects, because I don't care if they got Christopher Morel, Nico Horner, or Justin Steele for that matter. That's what I was hoping for when I saw that, and I'm like, my God, that's to me anyway. That wasn't a good return back, gentlemen.
But Eddie, what about Pearson's last couple of years would have suggested you were going to get more than a couple of prospects?
Well, I just wanted to come back on that. I want to say another thing too. The Cubs are 6.5 games back in the wild card race. They're probably not going to make the playoffs. So I'm like, why? That was another thing I was thinking of too. But I don't know. It's just one of those things I was just thinking about today. When I saw it.
No. Yeah, it's fair, Eddie. I appreciate the call, as always. So if people have not seen the return for Pearson, now this came down before first pitch today. It came down actually before our pregame show. But the two players that came back to Toronto in the Nate Pearson trade to the Cubs, left fielder Yohendrick Pinango, 22-year-old in Double-A, and Josh Rivera, shortstop. So he is 23 years old, Pinango is 22 years old. Rivera, a shortstop. Pinango, a left fielder. They're both in Double-A, and according to Kylie McDaniel of ESPN, who is a great resource for all of these things, Rivera, the better prospect, doesn't need to go on the 40-man until after the 2026 season. Double-A numbers aren't great, but there's a lot of batted ball luck baked in. For Pinango, would need to be added to the 40-man this winter by Toronto to protect from the Rule 5 draft. So, look, I think I'm not sure, based on, to my point to Eddie and Nick, I'm not sure based on what we had collectively seen from Pearson as a Blue Jay that you were going to get you were going to get big time players or prospects, much less major league active players. I actually would have been surprised. First of all, I was surprised to see Nate Pearson go, and I do wish him all the best of luck, because I've said this, Blair has said this, I'm sure you've said this, but I think a lot of people had largely accepted that his best years were probably, unfortunately, going to come in another team's uniform, but now that's a reality now.
Yeah, I would have been shocked if they had gotten sort of functional MLB players for Pearson. This is a guy who's running a 5.63 ERA and relatively medium leverage relief role right now. As talented as he is, I think a lot of Blue Jays fans have a idea of him, a mental image of him that is kind of based on the prospect he was and the draft pick he was and kind of the journey that we've been on with Nate Pearson. But to another organization, that baggage isn't there, and they are looking at and evaluating the player he is today and the player they project him to be. Now, again, that talent matters, and there's a reason why the Cubs thought he was a viable kind of longer-term project, which is why a team out of contention is interested in him to get those next couple of years out of him. And he may do very well. Like, he has the tools to be a very effective, medium or even high leverage reliever. But it didn't seem like it was happening in Toronto. If you're going to question the deal, for me, what I would question is the timing.
Right.
Because they are trading him at a moment you could argue is a low ebb of his value. He has not pitched very well recently, and there was no urgency to trade him. They still have holes in their bullpen for 2025. They still have those 2 years of control. And even if your image of Pearson as the Blue Jays organization was, this is a player we just don't feel like we're going to get the best of, it's not really working out, we should move on, I would still maybe just keep him for the rest of the season or keep him into next year and see if you can get him to turn it around just a little bit and improve the return. Because it does feel like you're selling low on Pearson, and you probably couldn't have sold high unless you sold him back in like 2018. Yeah. But like selling him now is really selling low.
I mean, Ricky Tiedemann also scheduled for Tommy John surgery, if you didn't hear the update during the game. And it's not the internal brace, which typically is a little bit of a shorter recovery time. It is, in fact, the full TJ surgery, which really sucks. I feel bad for Tiedemann because he has not been able to stay healthy. But I only bring it up because I suppose it really does underscore the point, Nick, that, I mean, surefire prospects are not, like, they almost don't exist. You know what I mean? Like,
especially pitchers,
for sure. Because I mean, you're like, all these pitchers are effectively making. Like, they're making their arms, right or left, do things the human arm probably was not ever meant to do, right? And now you see, and again, I'm not saying all pitching prospects end up like this. I mean, you certainly hope it does not end up like that for Paul Skeens. I quite enjoy watching him pitch when I can. But I mean, I thought that about Steven Strasburg, for example. I absolutely did. You've remembered his debut, came up and carved, and then injuries took their toll, and he never really, I think, 100% fulfilled the potential I think we all thought he might when he was a prospect. So I think that's more of a general comment more than on just Pearson or on Tiedemann. But there was a time that you would have not have thought higher of Pearson or Tiedemann, and now here we are with both of them.
And even the guy who pitched today, Kevin Gausman, was drafted at the very top of the draft, and then for, you could say, the first half of his career, largely disappointed and bounced around a little bit and did not kind of give the Orioles in particular what they thought they were going to get out of him as a foundational piece, and then went on and, he just discovered the splitter and really leaned into it, and his career changed. So even with Pearson, we might see future chapters that look very different than what we saw as a Blue Jay. And pitching is just such a funny thing. Whether it's injuries, whether it's guys' repertoires changing, we just don't have a very good sense of what the path for these guys is going to be, no matter how talented they are. And as you say, Tiedemann and Pearson are perfect examples of that.
590, name and location. A couple texts on the text line before we take a quick break here. Jen in Toronto, Danny has lefty pull warning track power, so good for the Green Monster. Absolutely. I think that'll play well in Fenway Park, as you brought up earlier, Nick. Tina in London, if only we played like yesterday and today a month earlier, we would be buyers. Their hearts were in it. I mean, a big part of I don't disagree with that sentiment, because they certainly played well today, but I also think that when you look at what the Jays had been doing in the last most of the season, I would say. I mean, they had been not playing like that, and it had not been supplemented by good play from the starting pitchers, which are kind of been up and down, or even the bullpen, which had been not so great for most of the season. And I mean, they've traded Jimmy Garcia and Nate Pearson. Obviously, those two guys on different ends of the circle of trust discussions which we've been having as of late. But it is. I just find it tough to make the comparison to earlier in the year, because it does feel like things did not go well when they had the highest leverage games, and now here we are.
Also, it's easy for there to feel like there's fight and there's energy in the team when things are happening. It's like, when they're getting a lot of hits, well, okay, so now they're running the bases. Now they seem more kinetic, more energetic, more into the game. Whereas in games where they're simply getting shut down offensively, people say, they're listless. They're not interested in the game. They're not in it in the same way. And so sometimes I feel like the tail wags the dog in terms of what is energy, what is fight, and what is just being effective on the field. Like, even the Chicago White Sox have lost 79 games already, but they've won 27. And I'm sure that after one of those 27 wins, we could have a discussion saying, wow, if they just played like this all the time, then they'd win a bunch of ball games. But it's just not really how it works. And the Blue Jays, as you said, have just not given, whether it's fans or the front office or really the baseball world, anyone any reason to believe that they're a contender basically since this season began.
Eduardo and Kleinberg asks, Show, what happened to Aaron Sanchez? The Jays signed him. Is he still with the team? I believe he is still with the Bisons, but last I checked, and I think I checked like last week or something. I admit I had not checked particularly recently, Nick, but last I checked, he had not been pitching particularly well. And I mean, like, I think it's kind of a cool story that someone like Aaron Sanchez is back with the organization, but I think that's kind of all it amounts to, right? A cool story. I think given that the Bisons are a team that had a lot of, they might have been one of the better teams in minor league baseball prior to all the call-ups and injuries, and then all of those things happened and they kind of became depleted. So I think they just needed bodies to pitch for them, and they had some experience with Aaron Sanchez and brought him in. But I don't think. Let's put it this way. If Aaron Sanchez factors in any way, shape, and form to the 2024 Toronto Blue Jays season, it's crazy to say that something even worse has happened, but
something cataclysmic has happened. Yeah. Like, something arguably tragic has happened if we get to that point. Like, we're talking about a guy who has a 9.12 ERA in AAA right now. Like, he was a death dart throw. Arguably even more so than when they brought Drew Hutchison back, as a.
That's right. Yeah.
It's that kind of move. Someone that we feel good about personally, potentially, or someone we're familiar with at least as an organization who can provide some depth from the minor leagues. Is kind of surprising because Sanchez's relationship with the organization had some friction during his time here, so it was a bit odd to see him bring them back in that regard, but I don't think he was ever expected to play a role of any importance.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Those are the numbers for you to call if you want to drop us a line on the phones. If you want to drop us a line via text message, 590-590, name and location. That's the People's text line. As always, standard message and data rates may apply. That's Nick Ashbourne. I'm Show Ali. Let's take a very quick break, Nick, and when we come back, we'll go back to the phones, back to the text line. We'll hear from John Schneider, who just finished speaking to the media, and we'll hear from Kevin Gausman as well, who, again, phenomenal outing from him, his third career complete game as the Blue Jays win not only this game 7-3, but they beat the defending World Series champs in this series and look to sweep tomorrow here at the Rogers Center. You're listening to Jays Talk, Show and Nick with you on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
We're twomenandatruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think twomenandatruck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think twomenandatruck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, twomenandatruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays. Get to the ballpark early to enjoy outdoor activities before continuing the fun inside while you cheer on the Blue Jays.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes.